Hey, brother, did you try that new restaurant down the street?
Yeah, I went there yesterday. Man, the food was off the chain. And the chicken was like, how they be saying it? Like, to die for.
Whoa.
To die for?
To die for, brother?
I'm saying, the chicken was good. You know what I'm saying?
Can't you just say the chicken was good? Does it have to be to die for? That sounds a little...
Did you wear skinny jeans while you were eating the chicken?
No, I'm saying, I would say it was good, man.
Was it rainbow chicken?
Hold up, man. I feel like with a sparkly buckle on it.
Was the server doing a sissy bounce?
Man, I'm just saying the chicken was good. Look, man, the chicken was good, no homo.
No, it's time is passing.
You're supposed to say it before, bro.
I can't say. I just said no homo though. There's no regulation on when you can say no homo. What are y'all like the regulatory governing body over no homo?
Brothers and sisters, don't get caught up. Don't let the homosexual poltergeist pull you in. We are the final front in the war against white sex. Stand strong. This African service announcement has been brought to you by Warner Horizon Radio.
Warner Horizon. You gotta love it.
No.
Man, oh, here we go again, man. Two gay dudes kissing on the bus. That's what I'm talking about. Why you gotta be, man, they trying to turn everybody gay. You know what I'm saying, bro?
Nah, brother, I really don't know what you're talking about.
I'm saying, you see the bus, you see how they got the two dudes kissing on the joint. It's like commercials. Everywhere you go, everything gay. Youngest walking around with these little, the faggy fit jeans and everything. You know what I'm saying?
Well, brother, do you have hate in your heart?
What?
Yeah, that's not the Christianly thing to do. You should love our neighbors.
Man, I ain't loving no gay neighbors, Joe. It ain't say you gotta love your gay neighbors. It don't say love your neighbors. It don't say... I ain't talking about neighbors. I'm talking about faggots. So you say you love faggots?
What I'm saying is, love is the most powerful force in the universe. And Jesus came to show us how we should love our brothers.
Man, you sounding real gay right now, talking about loving some brothers. Hold on, Joe. Look, look, if you want to tell me something, just let me know. I might be preaching to the choir, man. I'm saying, the faggots, talking about loving. You know what, man? Forget this, man. I'm going to walk. Peace. Brothers and sisters. Sometimes your arms is not long enough to box the spooky in the sky. Spend your time where it's most useful. This is the African service announcement. Warner Horizon. We'll see you on the battlefield. Warner Horizon. You gotta love it.
I wonder why Tupac didn't get up in 3 days.
I don't know, Tupac's going to die.
I mean, it's just so easy just to die and then come back in 3 days. So Jesus is like Ghost Dad.
No, Jesus is alive and well.
Yeah, Jesus is Ghost Dad. Because he dies, but he's still around.
He's alive and well.
Jesus is Ghost Dad.
Jesus is alive.
I get it now. Like Bill Cosby, like he dies, but he's still around. And he comes back and helps his children.
Jesus is alive.
He's a ghost that helps people.
Jesus is spirit. He's alive.
Like Ghost Dad.
No, not like Ghost Dad.
That's exactly like Ghost Dad. It really reminds me of the plot of Ghost Dad.
No.
The father dies, but he's not really dead.
You never seen
and he comes back.
Jesus supernatural.
Because Bill Cosby walked through walls.
Jesus said.
Remember he was walking through the walls?
Right here, right now.
And Jesus walked through walls.
Jesus right here.
Jesus is Ghost Dad.
Jesus right here with us.
I knew there was a deeper meaning to that movie.
Spirit.
Jesus is Ghost Dad.
Jesus spirit.
Because he comes back and he helps his children.
Spirit. Yes, he comes
and
back.
Jesus comes back and helps his children.
Jesus is spirit.
Jesus is Ghost Dad. I totally did not pick up on that.
Okay. That's why you need to read your Bible.
I gotta go back and watch Ghost Dad again.
Well, when you watch your Ghost Dad, you need to read your Bible.
I mean, because that's exactly what you're explaining.
You read your Bible.
No refuge could save the hireling and the slave from the terror of flight or the gloom of the grave, and the star-spangled banner in triumph doth wave over the land of the free and the home of the brave. And to this I'm supposed to pledge, swear, stand, and make my children behave. Listen to the chastisement and warning of a slave, reminded that he will never be free or brave to those from the cave. But Babylon is falling down and its flocks are hot. Depth of white supremacy shown in the decisions of those in St. Louis against Dred Scott, stating that no slave has ever or could never be a citizen, and no law for them whites are bound to respect, due to servitude and politically incorrect and rude, reduced to guard dogs to use, to serve, and to protect. Allowed to bark but no bite. NAACP and $1,000 plate bootleg dinners per night. Like werewolves guarding the vampires of the underworld, kept in place by adoration and fright. You better run in the house before the rain starts. Blood soaked at the roots, death and destruction running through his veins, and black and cold as his heart. Cursed and damned by God, held accountable for the world's sickness and domination, whether in whole or in part. Dark are the blue eyes of the cockatoy devils who can kill without remorse on so many levels. Babylon is falling down, falling down, falling down as little babies sing about the stock market crash, or the dollar burning to ash, or the soaring prices of gas. Babylon screams, war, war. Heart Project and Skylar Technologies perfecting the creation of catastrophes galore. Mentors of Hitler and Saddam, blood-sucking zombies telling red rum, murder spell backwards. Clarifying our business today, our mental and physical repatriation home is the only way. And God said, come out of her unless ye be judged. And Queen Mother Horse sat upon the throne and glanced upon all she had conquered, as the mystery of Babylon lives on. Western civilization, unworthy of the name civilization, but civil she is not. Draped in gold jewels of abomination and filthiness, even God repents for his bastard creation. Solely out of control, creator of evil, white devils, Babylonian hearted, thievery, murder, perverse normality, pedophilia, bestiality, canine eyes and minds, socio-psychopathic, wreaks havoc in order to survive, plagiarizer of my story, allegories of his story, Johnny come lately, Caucasoid, Neanderthal, the God complex, molester of humanity, Bustenheimer, never to be revealed, blood-stained lands over the planet Earth suffer from hemophilia, wounds that will never heal, passing immorality to all who will see and hear. Propaganda once again, become as the Babylonians or die, says Queen Mother Whore and her loyal subjects. Slave master of the world will be fed to the chin of all who dare to be free from immorality. Man lay with man, woman lay with woman, woman lay with beast, man lay with beast, woman lay with child, man lay with child. Even the Africans who once knew God have now gone wild. We have become Queen Mother Whore's love child. Raw dog eat raw dog just as the Babylonian. Western Hemispherians identical to the Romans. When in Rome, do as the Romans do. Therefore, when my eye comes to balance the universe, many of the Queen Mother Whore's love children must die too. Come out of her. Let me be judged. American people, baby Babylon.
My ancestors woke me up this morning. They said, son, you do know what time it is, don't you? I said, what time is that? They said it's wartime. So welcome to the war front, brothers and sisters. Another fantastic evening. March 18th, 2013, year of the Peckerwood. We trying to bring his days to a close, and the time he rules on planet Earth to a close as soon as possible. And I guess we got to make an assessment as to whether or not we winning. So tonight we're going to have open lines, and we're going to kind of just talk about any of the things that are on your mind that are going on out there. So I figured I'd just say a few things that's going on in the Jews. As you know, we use One Horizon as kind of a living record so that people can listen in the future and hear what was going on during our time and what we were faced with and kind of the remarkable circumstances that we're living under. So just want to go down the line and want to tell everybody, please call in 760-569-7676. That's 760-569-7676. Participation code 948-656-pound. That's 948-656-pound. And what we're going to do tonight, we're going to talk about just some of the things that are on people's minds, and we're going to keep the lines open as long as you on here, as long as you call and have something you want to talk about, we'll talk. When you don't want to have anything left to talk about, then we'll end the show. And usually, strangely enough, these usually end up being our most interesting shows because our programs, because brothers and sisters will call up on these programs and have just an opportunity to really say the things that have been on their mind that we may have not even considered and really be dropping some heavy science. So with that said, let me just talk about a few of the things in the Jews right now. HBCUs may sue Barack Obama administration over new student loan rules. Let me read this real briefly. Historically black colleges and universities are not ruling out a lawsuit against the Obama administration over new federal financial aid policies that disproportionately affect their students, the Washington Times reports. New underwriting standards enacted in October 2011 to PLUS loans made it tougher for parents with lackluster credit to borrow money from the federal government for their child's college expenses. Families of students at HBCUs were twice as likely to use the program, according to the Associated Press, but previous borrowers were not grandfathered in with the old standards. So in other words, if you've been borrowing and been paying back and things have been going fine, you can't borrow now, so your black child can't continue to go to school, pretty much. That's pretty much to make it simple. With the policies now in effect and forcing some students out of college, HBCUs are considering legal actions over the new rules. We're going to continue to pursue the legislative process to find a better solution, Johnny C. Taylor, president and CEO of the Thurgood Marshall College Fund, told the Washington Times. But if at some point we determine there is no agreement, then we may have to consider going to the courts. HBCUs typically don't have sufficient robust endowment funds to offer their own financial aid to replace loans. The combined endowments of all HBCUs is $1.6 billion, which is less than Ohio State University's $2 billion fund and far below Harvard's $19 billion, according to the GRIO. So essentially what's happening is, and Dr. Jahi Issa, we got to credit him with it because he created an article talking about how they're using legislation to end higher education for black people. And they're doing it at white schools and black schools. And he talked about a lot of different things that were coming down the pike that the Obama administration, which is really just a front for the Zionist small hat agenda, is literally actively pursuing, destroying black people's ability to get higher education. Now, let's talk about what that means in layman's terms. In layman's terms, Barack Hussein Obama is the mulatto front man or male fag, the mulatto front fag, the homo front fag, I guess. I don't know. Can you be a homo front fag? Homo front back fag, front back side, all that freakish stuff. This fag is literally assisting in the special education to Ritalin to prison pipeline, meaning they have a process now where they literally determine how many prison spaces they're going to need for black children based on their second grade or how well they're doing in school. And what Obama is doing is saying, okay, what about for the black people who make it through the pipeline and are actually ready to go to college? They graduated high school, want to get a loan, go to college and try to, get some kind of education to give them a piece of paper to say that they can go and get a job and try to make it in society. What he's saying is we're going to end that. So now as a black student whose parents do not have money because the whites have stolen our money, you can get Mind Your Black Business Part 2, Why We So Broke, and watch that and you'll see it's not because black people don't work hard. We built and worked harder than anybody in the society, and it's been stolen from us from whites. So we're going to have to take it back. You can't ask for it back or go through the courts. We got to take it back. Over somebody's dead body is the only way we're going to really get it back, and there's nothing wrong with that. Dead bodies for that which belongs to you is a good thing. They got something, It belongs to you. They want to give it to you. Make a dead body. You get your stuff back. And that's what we're going to have to do as a race of people. But before that happens, which is not happening now, we're not hurting, killing nobody but ourselves. We'll talk about Chicago, what brothers and sisters are doing to each other in these gangs out there in Chicago. But we're looking at a situation where even the black people, the young people who do the right thing and who have now traditionally gone to a community college or to a HBCU, historically black college and university, and gotten an education and come out and try to do something with their life. I'm one of those. I'm a product of HBCU. Now we won't have the option for higher education coming from a lower income background. We can't even get a loan that we'll have to pay back with all this interest and keep you basically a slave to the system forever. But even with that, you're able to do it and do something. What they're doing is shutting us out as African people of all means for development so that it forces you into crime, to menial positions, into joblessness, lack of ability as a black man to take care of a family, and essentially puts you back in prison. So they're re-enslaving African people, and they're using this stinking faggot mulatto to do it. So for those who get offended and say, oh, that's kind of harsh language if you're a new listener, we've done so much documentation on the homosexual, licentious, degenerate misbehavior of Barack Hussein Obama. We're not just throwing out these accusations as insults. They're not insults. They're just actual definitive descriptions of his misbehavior. So we move on past that story. The magic mulatto, Barack Hussein Obama and his vicious, sick Zionist administration is killing black people all over the world. And we'll go to these same crackers who are killing black people all over the world. We're going to Nubia, brothers and sisters. They have a website called SaveNubia.org. And I'm just going to read a little bit about this so you can know what these stinking Arabs are doing now to African people in the Sudan. The Sudanese government has recently secured construction contracts for several dams, and the work on these hydroelectric projects will soon start without any announcement. Once these projects are completed, they will immediately flood all nearby archaeological sites. The construction will begin with notification or announcement because of the major protests from local Nubians who are disputing the benefits of the construction of the Dal Dam, the second cataract, and Kajbar Dam, third cataract. The Sudanese government has indicated that the dams will create additional electricity for the benefit of the local citizens, and electricity is indeed an uncontested factor for a country to develop. But the means to acquire this electricity is often contested and controversial. The local Nubian citizens in the affected areas do not agree that these hydroelectric projects will benefit them. And this is based on their past experience with the construction of the Aswan High Dam. That's the dam that the Nubians call the Dam because it destroyed so much of their way of life, which flooded an important Nubian region in northern Sudan and southern Egypt. The Aswan Dam created a 340-mile-long lake, which flooded 39 Nubian villages and submerged innumerable priceless artifacts. Thus, the Nubians are convinced that the current hydroelectric projects are simply part of an ongoing scheme to erase their history and culture. For example, the Nubian environmental scientist, Dr. Arif Gamal, notes that by flooding the last of the remaining Nubian lands, the Nubians are reduced to a group of people with no sense of memory, no past, and no future to look for. The Nubian voices should be respected in this manner because they are the affected community, and the World Commission on Dams has clearly indicated in its November 2000 report that no dam should be built without the demonstrable acceptance of the affected people. If you do not kill Arabs, they're going to build a dam, they're going to destroy your society. So I know this kind of sounds kind of harsh, but I'm just kind of draw a line underneath it. These crackers and these Arabs are moving in on our people worldwide, and we need militancy, brothers and sisters. We need militancy and clarity. I remember a brother called up and talked about what Christianity does in religion, and he said essentially it prevents black people from having two things, clarity and focus. And right now it's time for clarity and focus. The Asiatics, the stinking sand crackers, and these peckerwoods are moving in to kill African people, and these stinking mulattoes to Barack Hussein Obamas of the world, moving in, and everybody's assaulting African people, and we're acting like we don't know that it's time to fight, and that's what it boils down to. So that's why Nubian brothers and sisters, Let's talk about a sister down in Texas. Christian groups defend mom who beat her son after being caught in a homosexual act with a relative. A Texas woman opened the door of her 15-year-old son's bedroom and had a tremendous shock. She found him engaged in, you can imagine, with her 18-year-old cousin. She immediately began whipping her son with an electric cord. Eric Moore of Forest Hill, a suburb of Fort Worth, now faces assault charges because of the beating she gave her son. So Erica Moore, this sister Erica Moore, she sees her 15-year-old engaged in white sex misbehavior with her 18-year-old cousin, and 18-year-old storms out the room. I guess she didn't get to strangle him, but then she just started beating her son like she should have. She says, when I walked in, I saw my son. It was just disgusting to me, the way he was looking, and my cousin was looking, and my cousin immediately ran out the door. So that was my reaction because it disgusted me. They were committing a homosexual act in my house, and we are totally against that. So it's not like he caught a young lady that was visiting and her son and they making out or something like that, and she got him up and beat him. And if she did catch him and beat him, nobody would have had a problem with that. She would say, don't be making out in my house. She's protecting the interests really of both of them. But now, this is really statutory rape for an 18-year-old who's an adult to be sexually molesting a child. But then a male, then it's incest because they're related. And so this sister has all the rights to do what she did. Well, what happened? She, Dan Dennis, with the Forest, Moore said, let me go back up here because Child Protective Services followed up and Moore was arrested. So, wait a minute. Miss Erica Moore was arrested and charged with assault. She now faces charges of assault with bodily injury to a family member and could face prison time if convicted. Moore said that the police department told me that it was consensual. She went on to say that the officer told her that had it been him in that situation, he would have probably shot both of them. But according to Moore, the law says you can't whoop your child. As a result, this mom might go to prison. Come on, this is ridiculous. Chief Dan Dennis with the Forest Hill Police Department, however, denied that such a conversation took place. However, Moore does have some support. The Reverend Tatum, the president of the Texas Southern Christian Leadership Conference, is asking the district attorney to drop the charges against Moore. I've known Sister Erica for many years, and she did what we teach every good God-fearing mother should do when their child disobeyed their rules, values, and standards. Texas Penal Code 9.61 gives her the legal rights, and the Holy Bible gives her the religious rights to discipline a child the best way she knows how. So they're trying to lock up a black woman for fighting against her child being involved in sick, incestuous, homosexual, pedophilic misbehavior, which is sick and perverted, and it demonstrates the world that we live in. And while people want to say that One Horizon is too harsh, and One Horizon, we told you they have outlawed your morality. You don't have the right to even discipline. You can't even tell your child to be a decent human being and to participate in African standard behavior. And if you do, they're going to lock you up. And now, at some point, people are going to start turning, you know what, we got to turn it up. We can't be pretending it's not going on because it's affecting everybody, everywhere that we find our people. And we're afraid to fight. This time we're going to have to fight. Let's move on into Chicago. We know that there's so many gangs going on in Chicago. Brothers and sisters are just murdering each other left and right, particularly the brothers with a low employment rate, a high unemployment rate for black men in Chicago, with the gang violence seemingly picking up and getting to an all-time high, and with apparently no one being able to step in and really galvanize the interests of the youth and stop this brutality from continuing to go on. A 6-month-old baby has died in a Chicago hospital after being shot 5 times, while her father, the intended target in the shooting, was shot several times and now remains in critical condition. Janila Watkins was shot along with her father, Jonathan Watkins, 25, in Chicago's Woodlawn neighborhood Monday afternoon. This was back on March 12th. So he was shot probably about March 11th or something like that. Monday afternoon, police confirmed this morning in the latest death in the city's escalating gang violence dilemma. Baby Janila was transported to Comer Children's Hospital where she underwent 5 hours of surgery. The Cook County Medical Examiner's Office confirmed the baby's death early Tuesday. So the brother, recovered from his wounds, but essentially we have a 6-month-old baby boy just murdered. A baby daughter, a 6-year-old baby daughter, his little girl, 6 months old, murdered in cold blood as they were trying to murder him, and he had his daughter with him, and they just shot and ended up killing her as well. So what we see is a real terrible situation where, because of the joblessness, because of the terrible hip-hop music that our children are listening to, because of a multitude of circumstances combining, we see just a terrible situation in Chicago. And unfortunately, apparently we don't have the kind of people who can step in and encourage our young people to stop, this kind of murder and destruction. And so it's very devastating what's happening to our people. And it's a shame when you see it. When I look at it and I go, man, it's one of those things. You out there, you in gangs, we're involved in this self-destructive misbehavior. And if you're involved in a self-destructive misbehavior and you do something to someone that's wrong, then they're going to come back to you and try to do damage to you. That's just how it works. And what happens is a bunch of innocent people, like this 6-month little old girl, black girl. I got a little baby girl. I got a 2-month-old son. That could be my son. That could be my daughter. And so we want to tell our people not to be involved in this kind of misbehavior, but at the same time, we are the generation that created the music that facilitates them committing these kind of crimes against each other with the music that they listen to every single day. That we created the groundwork for this kind of destruction, and we have not gone back out and shut this music industry down. And I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna say, 50% of the violence in the black community. I didn't say 100%. I said 50%. That means 1 out of every 2 crimes committed in the black community would change if we got rid of hip-hop. And I'm not saying that we didn't have music that young people can listen to. If we got rid of every form of music that calls black women bees and hoes and disrespects black women, and we got rid of every form of music that talk about killing black people, even if the music talked about killing crackers, I wouldn't care about that because we wouldn't shoot each other if we was listening to music talking about killing crackers. We wouldn't be killing each other. We might be shooting crackers, but that wouldn't be my babies, Or if it was, it would be the police shooting back, and they shooting at us anyway, which is one of the next stories we will go to. Shooting back, it don't matter if they're shooting back. At least we would be shooting, at least we would get some bodies in on our side, too. Let's talk about this. Riots in Brooklyn after police fatally shoot teenager. The mother of a Brooklyn teenager shot and killed by police demanded an investigation Thursday, saying he was slaughtered and that she wants to know why. Kimani Gray, 16, died over the weekend. His death triggered protests in Flatbush, a community in Brooklyn where distrust of police runs deep. I'm still waiting for Kimani to come home, Carol Gray told reporters during an emotional news conference. She wore dark sunglasses and struggled to speak as she recalled picking the color of her son's casket. He has a curfew, she said. Sometimes he's late. Sometimes he's early, depending on the night. Well, whatever time he gets there, I'll be really happy to see him as soon as the bell rings. And for the past couple of days, the bell hasn't rung. So she's talking about the fact that, the police murdered her son. According to police, plainclothes officers were on patrol in their car in Flatbush when they saw a group of men gathered on the street at about 11:30 p.m. Now, these are teenagers, but notice how the police characterize it. They're a group of men now, because they want them to be older so that it's more justifiable. As the officers got closer, Kimani Gray broke from the group and adjusted his waistband. The teen continued to act in a suspicious manner. So the officers got out of their unmarked car and tried to get his attention, said a New York Police Department statement. Kimani Gray then, quote-unquote, turned on them, it said, and pointed a .38 caliber revolver at the officers. They fired at the teen, striking him. So you got a young brother that's so bold, he's going to pull out a .38 on the pigs, but not going to shoot him. So he doesn't shoot, he just pulls it out so that they can murder him in cold blood. Okay. The teen died at a hospital, and a loaded .38 was recovered from the scene, the statement said. Right, a loaded .38, right. Right, it didn't come from the police. who always carry an extra pistol so when they murder a black person, they can throw it out there and say, hey, this is the gun that person had. One officer fired 4 rounds. Another fired 7, according to New York Police Department Deputy Commissioner Paul Brown. Both are now on administrative duty. The officers were taken to a hospital and treated for what the department described as trauma and tinnitus, a ringing in the ears. So the officers are in the hospital because of the bullet sounds that rang from the gun that they shot off at the young brother. Grace said that her son was killed in front of his best friend's house. She described him as a typical teenager, into girls and hanging out with friends. Most people in the city likely don't believe what police say happened Saturday, said Councilman Charles Byrne, who appeared with the teen's mother at the news conference. For her part, Carol Grace said she did not think her son had a gun, but added, I wasn't there. He is not the public's angel, but he's my angel, and he's my baby, and he was slaughtered, and I want to know why. So long story short, by Monday, anger at the shooting boiled over with a mob of young people interrupting a vigil by running wildly into local businesses, according to an eyewitness. Police say they arrested 2 people that day. So basically the brothers did what they do, pull up stuff, busted windows, and just start, showing their displeasure at the fact that this young brother was murdered. Now, I don't know, what the circumstances are. We don't know, accordingly, they say that the young man was a gang member. This is another brother. As a black man growing up in Flatbush, you just expect to be harassed by cops, pulled over, arrested, and now just straight up killed, said Shanduke McFadder, a 35-year-old former gang member who works with young men in the neighborhood. That's what happens out here. And kids are doing it to themselves, too. They doing crime, too. And you got cops who don't live here coming in here so hard, too hard. That's how we got a situation like Kimani Gray. So we're committing crimes in the criminal behavior. Police want to kill black people anyway, so they killing black people. They don't know if you commit a crime or not. They just run the law of averages. If you black, you out hanging out, they shoot you. They figure they can say you're a criminal. If you have been involved in criminal behavior, then it works in their favor. If you haven't, then they can say, they made a mistake. And obviously they're not getting the necessary repercussions to make them think twice about doing those things. Let's go to Detroit. And I'm coming to the phone lines. Brothers and sisters, please hang on. We'll be in the phone lines very, very shortly. Again, the phone number, 760-569-7676. Again, that's 760-569-7676. Detroit, brothers and sisters, at one time, one of the most densely populated black urban centers in this country, has now been taken over by financial experts to avoid bankruptcy. So basically the state has taken over and given Michigan Governor Rick Snyder announced a state takeover of Detroit's finances and appointed as manager a corporate bankruptcy expert who took a can-do attitude toward running around the destitute city, calling it Olympics of restructuring. Kevin Orr, an attorney who worked on the restructuring of Michigan-based automaker Chrysler, said as the city's emergency financial manager, he hoped to avoid a bankruptcy filing by Detroit, something that would rank as the biggest municipal bankruptcy in U.S. history. So basically, they sent in what appears to be a small hat. I'm not sure if it's a small hat or not, so I can't say that for sure. But they sent in an attorney. This attorney is probably a hat. But again, may not be. Schneider is definitely probably a hat. His name is Schneider. That's a hat name, Rick Schneider. So the governor of Michigan looks to be a hat, and I'm assuming that he's pointing an attorney to it as another hat, taking over the city of Detroit, brothers and sisters. So that's one more story. And the last story, I'm just going to play a brief clip. I'm going to tell people now, for my brothers and sisters that are white sex experts, you deep into this white sex assault, you want to understand what's happening with the forcing of this homosexuality on people around the world, particularly African people, and the promotion of it through TV and through the media and through the media moguls and entertainment and through the military and through the elite. There is a 4-part interview. It's very long, and she goes off on a lot of tangents. But I think that it's invaluable. It was sent to us very recently. It's by a white female named Kay Griggs. That's Kay Griggs, Griggs. and you put in Kay Griggs, Colonel's wife, tell-all interview. Again, that's Kay Griggs. You go to YouTube, Kay Griggs, Colonel's wife, tell-all interview. And it's part 1 of 4, and you got 4 parts. And I'm going to play a little brief part just so you can get an inkling of it. But let me tell you, she really breaks down in depth this whole homosexual agenda. She brings up everybody from, and she's not talking about it from a homosexual perspective. She's just talking about it from being an insider who was married to a colonel who told her how they train young men, how they seek out young boys who are pedophiles or victims of sexual abuse or homosexuals. And because they have low self-esteem, they pull them into the military, they make them into killers, and they send them around the world essentially to rape and murder people and to train people to be homosexuals and to rape and murder other people. And they do this to brothers and sisters from Haiti, African countries, African leaders from all around the world. And let me just play a little brief clip of what she says.
By priests. They were wonderful little boys sent there, turned, which is the word, when they believe their mothers, and then all of a sudden the world's horrible, and then they have these wonderful friends who are going to make them leaders.
Yeah.
They're turned psychologically, and it's a pattern. And so this is why it's so important to know what they are doing to innocent little boys in the Army and the Marine Corps today. Why? Why are they having them go together in groups and strip nude when they're brand new inductees?
Mm-hmm.
Why do they do certain things in public in front of the group? And
well, they even do that during the pre-induction visit.
Yes.
I mean,
and they also have the doctor.
That's why I didn't want to go in the Army. I knew there was something.
Yeah. But they also turn around the other way after doing that. The other way, and they're upside down. And they do this.
She's pointing with the finger getting put in the anus.
Now, why do they do that in public? Why are the urinals all out in public, without separate stalls?
Yeah.
If they're not promoting this. And then why is it that the ones who are this way rise up faster than the ones who don't?
Because there's someone there noticing.
Yeah, sure.
Those who are
vulnerable.
I was going to say rising, but that wouldn't be quite
They're
appropriate.
called rising stars.
Rising stars.
Rising, that's the word the State Department uses for those who are controlled. And when I was volunteering with the State Department as an escort in Virginia, I had this group called, I thought it up myself.
She goes on, and again, this is about 8 hours worth of interviews, 4 different parts, about 2 hours apiece or close to it. And she's just talking about, essentially, man, we call him Henry Kissinger, it's Heinz Kissinger, that he's a homosexual. They used to molest males, that in order to get your 06 ranking in the Marine Corps, which is, I think, the level of colonel, that you got to go through a homosexual ritual. She talks about these homosexual rituals. She talks about them. You have to watch it for yourself. I mean, she gives names, dates, times, circumstances, descriptions of these different rituals. And I've been talking to people whose husbands were in the Marines. And what's happening is I'm getting from people first-hand acknowledgement of stuff that their black husbands would say, yeah, this kind of stuff these crackers used to do. They used to get to a certain parallel place, and they go across this parallel, and then the white boy Marines would, a lot of the brothers wouldn't do it, but the white boy Marines would lay the guy who's gone, one guy would lay down, and they would pour all kinds of honey on him or something like that. And then the guy who's gone over to get his pins, he's got to lick the honey off of the dude, and then he can get his some kind of little personalized medal, something or another, and they give him, and it's all kind of freakish homo stuff that she talks about in here. And I've had people that are confirming it, but not in the detail that she is. Talking about the mate swapping and and the swinging and the homo stuff that is the way that this whole thing goes down. And she really breaks it down to a level that I've never actually heard it done with extreme clarity and detail. She's a devil, but let me tell you, this is a devil that gives some excellent information. I think that, again, my white sex experts out there that really study this homosexual assault and white sex assault, these are interviews that you have got to watch because they really give insight into why things are the way they are flowing down from the top, because they are flowing this way down from the top. It's called Kay Griggs, Kaygriggs, Colonel's Wife Tell-All video. You got 1 of 4, and you got 2 of 4, 3 of 4, 4 of 4. So with that said, brothers and sisters, I'm going to go to our phone lines. Again, 760-569-7676. That's 760-569-7676. Participation code 948-656-pound. That's 948-656-pound. 0870. You're live on War on the Horizon. 0870. Going once, going twice. All right, they're just listening. Detroit in the South, how you doing, my brother?
Brother, I'm doing good, brother. Myself.
Hey, man, just up here on the battlefield.
Definitely, peace to you, brother, and death to white supremacy.
Yes, sir.
Just enjoying the show so far, giving that information to people who, may not be able to see this stuff on the internet because we're not going to see it on the mainstream media. Just wanted to address some of the topics that you were discussing. We need to look up and, show these young brothers that's out here killing each other, that they are foot soldiers and they out there killing the wrong people. We need to hit some of these places like Chicago and, of course, the city of Detroit and other places so that we can instill this black power into the minds of our youth and young teens.
Now, I agree with you totally, man. And the thing is, we got to be organized to do that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Right now, that's our biggest problem. It seems like that sense of the dream of unity is so far away from us right now that, we the torch bearers right now, brother. We got to be the ones out there in the forefront using, the internet and other avenues so that we can reach our people so that they can, gradually wake up. You're already doing a wonderful job with the show. We spread that information. More and more people are logging in and listening to the archive and things of that nature, but we got to step that game up a little bit.
Yeah, you're right. We got to really get out there with the people. We really got to build infrastructure so that we have alternatives, because these brothers, some of them, if they had a way to make a living, many of them haven't finished high school, this, that, and the other, but if there was a reasonable way for them to turn their life around, a program and a system for them to come into, many of them would do it. But quite frankly, we don't have those systems in place. My brother?
Yes, sir. I'm here, brother. Yeah, definitely. We do have to, set up classes and, things of that nature so that we can teach them a trade. Just listening to the archive of Mind Your Black Business before you came on live, that's something that we were the builders of America, and right now they're making it seem like we don't produce anything, and we have to go back, those of us who have skills, to teach these brothers and sisters skills that's going to, push us forward in this war. Right now we depend on crackers for everything, and we got to come up out of that reality and make it a reality, whereas we are like we were, during slavery, as far as the skills that we possess, and all the way up until, they started implementing these programs to steer us away from, natural talents.
I agree with you 100%. And, it all boils down to the worse things get, the more obvious it becomes what we need. We need black male militancy, because anything we produce, they're going to come and try to destroy. So we might as well build it with a conflict-oriented mindset. And in order to build it, we need strong brothers to not only to build it, but to protect it. So really, it is right. The time is right for us to push militancy in the entire African world community, because the only way to protect our children from sexual abuse, the only way to build economic infrastructure and keep from whites tearing it down, the only way to protect ourselves from police brutality is to have black, militant, violent, revolutionary young brothers out on the forefront.
Definitely. That is definitely what I'm talking about right there. You know, and for those of us who legally packing, you know what I'm saying, we need to get our skills up. We need to learn the laws of each state so that we can actively carry and show these brothers, hey, listen, you can tow the heater, but why don't you do it the right way? You know, if they give us a right to carry it, as long as you don't get convicted, go ahead, buy your gun, keep it safe, strap up because we have war. Stop busting at each other and address what needs to be addressed. But the other thing that I wanted to mention, brother, you was talking about Chicago and how, you know, they're getting murdered over there on a daily basis, you know, 4, 5, 6 a day. Have you looked into a greater conspiracy of, you know, government intervening or causing a lot of these shootings that go unsolved as a form of gun control?
I'm going to be honest with you, man. I haven't, but I remember I was talking to somebody who was involved in working with the youth, and I don't remember what city it was or what state, but they told me that a lot of the New Orleans, people that were down in New Orleans, and they were saying a lot of the murders that were occurring in New Orleans were not being done by black people, but that police were systematically killing black people who were community organizers or maybe drug dealers who were trying to turn their life around and get out of the game, or not game, but out of this, you know, that death style. And just various different reasons that they were killing black people. I also remember watching Bastards of the Party by a guy, ex-Crip member named Sloan. And what he was saying is that when the Rodney King insurrection happened, when the brothers in L.A. created a gang truce and said no more violence, that he did an interview with a brother, and the dude said that they had stolen his car and did a drive-by. The police did a drive-by in his car because the gang units in L.A. made a lot of money. It got a lot of overtime, and if the gangs stopped killing each other, then they would all get fired and lose their jobs. So they had to create the idea that the gangs were still fighting each other and killing each other in order for them to, that's what they didn't have to. That's what they did to try to keep their jobs and employment and ability to kill black people. And so I definitely believe there's some validity in what you're saying. To some degree, one way or the other, whites are benefiting from black people getting killed, whether they're doing it actively or passively. They're the ones bringing the drugs and the guns in and setting the climate for this kind of thing to happen. No question about it.
Exactly. All right, brother. And like I said, you know, that's the reason why, you know, we need to get our folks together in every major city and even the small cities. And like I said, unite under that banner of black nationalism, black unity, and also, you know, just standing up for black manhood and letting them know that we can create these jobs for ourselves. We got to stop begging at the door of the white man for a handout and create some of this for our own, as well as, you know, the saying is, you take one of mine, I take 10 of yours. We really got to put that into our heart and mean it, but not against our own people, but against the enemy of our people.
And you know, that goes to another thing. We have a book that's coming out real soon. Sister Lady Shabazz just did a new book, and it's called The Conscious Book of ABCs. And it's an ABC book. Matter of fact, I want you to stay right there with me, brother, because I'm going to read through real quick because it speaks to what you just said. All right, I got The Conscious Book of ABCs right here in front of me. And I'm saying this for a point that the brother's saying. So we go to, and this is a book that when it comes out, we want all the brothers and sisters to buy. You know, we produce this stuff. People say they want it, and they have children. Then we produce the stuff, and we expect for people to support because, you know, if our conscious brothers and sisters, our active movement, Pan-Africanists don't support, then we don't have support. So brothers and sisters, and I'll just put you on hold for 1 second while I speak, brother. A little bit of background noise there. So we have the Conscious Book of ABC. It says A is for Africa. Africa is where we come from. And it's a picture book, so, of course, as you turn each page, it has something there to represent what it says. It says B is for black. Black is the color of our beautiful skin. C is for compliment. Our compliment is who we love. D is for devil. A picture of a little white female, devil. The white race is the devil. E is for elder. Black children respect their elders. This is the kind of stuff. Now this, and it goes to what our brother was saying about teaching the young people what to do. This captures the mind of a 1-year-old child, of a 6-month-old child, of a 2-year-old child, of a 3-year-old child, to teach them how to view the world. A is for Africa. Africa is where we come from. So they know that they're Africans. In the picture of it, you see the first picture is the picture of God, Amen. You see Amen there. You go all the way to the end, it says Z. Z is for Zionists. The Zionist devils are our enemies. This is a $10 book, brothers and sisters. Beautiful cover, black cover with red and yellow and green. Very educational for your children, and it prepares our children for the kind of mentality. And quite frankly, let's be honest, our children have to take over the war that we did not fight, and they have to be armed, and nobody is working to arm them. So here's the kind of things that we need to do what the brother's talking about, getting our youth prepared for it, and these are the kind of things that we've got to start doing and supporting to make that happen.
Yes, sir, brother. I mean, even though I don't have any children that age, it's something that, once it hit the stands, once the sister, start marketing it, that I'm going to get some copies of it just to give to the community. That's what we have to start doing. We have to, support our community and strengthen them, in ways that we haven't been doing. We got to bring it back, take it back to, the 60s or, when there was a time when we unified before integration and control our own destiny.
I agree with you 125,000% on that, brother.
Yes, sir, brother. Last but not least, brother, I just wanted to say, one more thing pertaining to, our condition. I'm going to have to get with you on a note. You can hit me up. I want to get some DVDs and stuff from you and try to, work out some things so that we can so I can put it out here to the community, and show people and start getting you down here like we had talked about last year, if your plans permit it.
Well, brother, if you want to bring us in, we'll make it happen. We'll also work out a sweet deal for you so you can make a little bit of money and you can get the information to the people too, and we'll make it easy for you to do that. So, matter of fact, this is what I want you to do. Send an email to liberation@waronthehorizon.com. After you get off, and just say you want to, you talked on the radio, you wanted to work something out to get some product down there and get us down there, and then I'll contact you, put your phone number and everything like that. They'll give me the email. I'll contact you. Put the time you want me to contact you, what day, and we'll be talking, brother.
Yes, sir, brother.
All right. Appreciate you, soldier.
Always, brother. Once again, death to white supremacy, brother.
Yes, sir. Death to white supremacy. That's a soldier there. Got his queen with him. Family, all walking together, walking a tight line because we in a tight battle. 0752, you live on War on the Horizon. 0752. 0752, going once, going twice. All right, they just listening. Let's go to 8769, you live on War on the Horizon.
Peace. How you doing, Brother Genie? This is Tad from New York.
Yes, sir. How you doing, soldier?
I'm all right, bro. Yeah, you opened up hitting a lot of things, man. The baby in Chicago, it definitely hurt me. Because, brothers want to live that style, but they want to live that lifestyle, rather death style. But they not respecting the rules to the game, man. You're going to be about that life, man. You can't have your babies out there. You pretty much can't have a family. Because I always tell the young brothers, when you live in that life, man, and you get murdered, you don't feel no pain. The ones who feel it is the family you leave behind. Your moms, your brothers, your sisters, your wife, your children, the people who really love you. So I really don't know the circumstances with that, brother, but, I'm from New York, but I'm here in Chicago. It's just off the chain. I'm seeing that it's off the chain. And I just wish brothers would understand that it's designed that way. It's just a trap. and we just falling into it. I think rats and lab mice know better than we do not to fall for certain traps, you know? And as a result, our babies are suffering. Even up here in New York with this Kamani Gray situation, man, talking to our ignorant people, man. Like, they believe everything they hear in the news. You know, they bring up the little brother. Brother was murdered because he had a brother who was already murdered. Said his father sold drugs. You know, I believe they planted the gun personally. I wasn't there. But, you know, the thing that they wasn't focusing on is that the two police were already under investigation for some kind of embezzlement scam they had going on. But you see how they play that down. So the little brothers in Flatbush, they are upset. They are tearing things up. And we got our bougie and ignorant black folks talking about why they destroying their community. And what I try to explain to the people is that those are not our stores that they're tearing up. Those are the people that have been raping and robbing the community for the longest, and the brothers are tired of it. They tired of the pigs. They tired of the Chinaman. They tired of the Arabs. They tired of everything. But we want to point fingers and blame our children, but children only do what they see. What legacy are we leaving them? What are we teaching them? What are we showing them? Because if we show them better, I'm certain they'll do better. You know, I work with the kids, and one little boy I was trying to get with my group, he was murdered just a couple of weeks ago. Him and my son grew up together from kindergarten to high school, and it hit me real hard because he was like my son. I grew up with his mother. You know, the elders in his family was cool with the elders in my family, and every time he saw me, he said, "Big Tad, I'm going to come get up with you. I promise, I promise." And I'm like, yo, man, I understand what you're going through. I've been there before, but please understand this is a trap. I said when I was out here in the streets, nobody told me how the system was designed for our failure, from school to the prison system, just to us being impoverished, not having the opportunities that many foreigners are afforded. You know, they just get off a boat and get a grant to open a business. Meanwhile, we've been here, we done built this country and still got to struggle for $5. You know, it drives me crazy sometimes, you know. It's like, I know I can't give up, but my goodness, man, this is our babies, and if people don't care about nothing else, we at least got to be concerned with the welfare of our babies. And if we're going to justify the murder of young Kamani Gray because of his alleged gang affiliation or him allegedly having a gun, come on, that's still no reason to murder the child. Because as a trained officer, you're supposed to know how to disarm him. Shoot him in the arm, shoot him in the leg. Shoot, I'm a pretty good shot, and I'm not a police officer. You know, it's just crazy, man. It's just so upsetting. So what the other caller was saying, man, I was just feeling that, brother, 100%. You know, we got to get in these streets and just really snatch up the little dudes. Tell them, hold your guns, man. Don't kill each other, because your brother's not your enemy. We all comrades in this. We all in it together.
And I'm hearing what you're saying. Here's the issue, man. And I'm going to just make it real plain. You got brothers like yourself, brothers like myself, and it's a lot of brothers that we all have the same, is that we know where this thing is going. We know what it's all about. You know, we completely understand. But we do not come together and become an organized unit. Because if you got 10 brothers like yourself and myself, Brother Kevin and them that came on there, we could walk into any hood in this country, capture the mind of those young brothers and sisters, and with all our different skills, some brothers will be there on a daily basis working with the young people after school. I could do lectures. Other people could work with them in music and stuff. And literally we can own any community. But we spread out and we're not unified. What is it going to take for black men? And I know you're doing the work, so I'm not talking about you whatsoever. I'm just saying brothers like myself and yourself to find brothers like ourselves to get active and get out in the street and actually get access to our youth to do something. What is it going to take?
I don't know. I think the brothers need education, because a lot of the brothers that want to do the work, a lot of them want to integrate with the enemy. They like, yeah, well, we got to include this one, we got to include that one. And the brothers who are in the street that know better, a lot of them are lip service. You know, a lot of them are lip service. They see me when we out and about in the streets. They be like, yeah, bro, I see what you're doing. I love what you're doing with the youth. And I tell them, come on down. You know, I meet in the projects. I meet inside the projects, right down the from the Barclays Center. You know, the thing that Jay-Z is affiliated with. with all the rich white boys. You know, they built a stadium out in Brooklyn. I'm a few blocks over in the community center in the projects. I tell brothers we meet every Friday at 7 o'clock. Come through and just see what we talk about. Just come through, and you would think they would come through. Just to see. I'm not asking brothers to give no money or do anything. Just come see what I'm doing. See what we talk about, so they can get educated. Because like I said, we use your lectures. You know, we use Dr. Ben, Dr. Clark. You know, we really educate them. Not with the kumbaya fake black leaders, you know, and not with black politicians unless they're about that business.
Let me stop you for a minute, because I hear what you're saying, but that's not really my question. I ain't talking about the Negroes. I'm saying brothers like yourself and myself.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Brothers are talking about it. They talking about it, but they ain't doing nothing.
You know what I'm saying? Then they ain't like yourself and myself, because you don't talk about it.
That's the sad part. Yeah, I don't know, brother. I don't know.
You do it. So, like, you're not talking it, you doing it. The work that we seeing, you can see. We got a radio station. We're not talking about having one that's open for our community. We doing it. So right. there are black men out here who are doing stuff. How do we glue together? How do we got to be able to do it, because we can't wait for these magical other Negroes to stop talking and act. They're not going to do it. They just talk. But there is
I think we just
do it.
tuned into war on the horizon. I think that's what it is. We all got to tune into war on the horizon, because there's nobody out there giving it up like you. Like you and your organizations are the only ones. Y'all the only ones who's really keeping it real. Like giving it up. And I'm hearing brothers from here. I'm hearing, you know, brothers in Chicago, brothers down south, you know, brothers around the country. But we should be flooding this line. This line should always be ringing off the chain. You know what I mean? You should only have like 1 minute per caller, because the line should be blowing up. But where are we? You know, I see a lot of us talking. I met some ladies a couple of weeks ago in Queens, some elders, you know. They got some things going on in Ghana, because I'm trying to go to Africa, take the kids to Africa, you know, and I'm rolling with the sisters. And it's a shame that our elders are still out here fighting. And I'm like, where are the young brothers like my age? Because I see a lot of the elder sisters, you know, and a few brothers, very few brothers, but a lot of sisters is doing a lot of work. The brothers are still trying to be young, trying to hang with the kids, and I can't go for that one.
Let me ask you a question. I ain't trying to butt in here, but when are you planning on going to Africa?
Next summer. Next summer.
Man, because, you know, we going, I tell you what, after you do your trip, because I don't want to butt into that trip, but, you know, we doing our first trip to Uganda in February.
Oh, okay. Well,
and after you do that trip, because we would love a brother like you that's conscious already to bring some young people on our second trip to Uganda.
Right.
For whoever wasn't able to run, because I know you already got this one planned, but, man, we would love to have this kind of energy there, because this is who we want there, you know what I'm saying? Young brothers with a person like you, so we ain't got to worry about them being crazy, because you got them in control. It's conscious people. It's Pan-Africanist. No cracker love. It's all about black power, black self-determination, and we doing stuff, and we going back to the continent. Man, we'd love to have that kind of energy with us on our trip.
Yeah, I would love to come. You know, because I said Ghana's just going to be the first of many stops.
Yes, sir.
You know, Africa's a big continent, and I'm trying to see as much as I can before I make my transition.
Yes, sir.
You know, but I guess we're going to stay in touch, you know, so we could further build and develop with that one, you know, because the children want it. Our young people want this, man, but ain't too many people out there offering it, you know, because just this Friday, even when you were talking about the hip-hop, now in the community center in another room, the Zulu Nation had a breakdance competition, and my young people were loving it. They were loving it. I said, how did y'all like it? He's like, yeah, it was dope. I said, how'd y'all like the music? Because, you know, they was playing James Brown break beats, some African drums. And I said, how did y'all love it? He was like, yo, it was good. I enjoyed the music. I liked the dance moves. I said, did y'all feel safe? They was like, yeah. I said, do you think this is music you could play around the children, around your parents? They was like, yeah. I said, but who did you see in there? They said Chinese kids and white kids.
Hey.
I said, how about that? I said, do y'all realize this is your culture? This is the birth of hip-hop? I said, now in there, y'all felt safe. Y'all didn't feel threatened. The music wasn't inappropriate or anything. I said, but now let's say later on tonight, Friday, you may want to go to our own parties without the white boys and the Chinese kids there. You're going to hear some Lil Wayne, some Trinidad James, and will you feel the same level of safety? And they was like, no. And I explain to them how this is designed, and they're nothing but culture bandits. You know, and we show them clips of what's the white boy named Justin Timberlake and the other white boy, you know, doing our hip hop on one of them late night talk shows, and just crazy, man. It's just crazy because the culture banditry is active. And I told our children, I show you this because I want you to know that most of the inventions that's here in America come out of young black minds. So when y'all start creating things, don't let nobody take it, and don't sell out. Don't put no price on your creation because you got to keep it home so you can constantly get paid. You know, you hit on so many things in the beginning. My mind is just everywhere right now.
Well, let me ask you this last question, and then I'm going to let you go. We got a lot of calls online, but you really moved me tonight because I didn't expect that answer you gave me. So, and I'm not really asking this just like some people out there, oh, he asking it because he wants to hear him brother say it, but I'm being dead serious when I ask you this question. So these radio waves really, really, really mean that much for what we're trying to do in terms of being an outlet for brothers and sisters to get some clarity.
Definitely, because our people are being misinformed. You know, I mean, this we have to support black media, and whether you recognize yourself as it or not, but you are black media, you know, and we have to support these things. That's the only way we could really keep in tune with each other. You know, you down in D.C., you got people calling. I'm up here in New York. We got people all around the country with the same like minds, but we know this is what the European did to us when they brought us on the ship. They separated the like mind brothers to prevent an insurrection. And I think this is the last outlet we got, you know, between this and social media, and you can only talk with so much on that, you know. But we definitely going to come together, you know. We definitely going to come together because we have to. It's imperative if we care about our people, if we care about our future and our children, because at the end of the day, those are the ones they're attacking. You know, the brothers like us, you know, they kind of hesitant to approach us because, you know, they know we conscious, we're aware, we got knowledge ourselves, we can see it a mile coming, but they know our babies don't. Our babies' third eye is not developed, so they don't see the things for what they really are. You know, so they dress it up pretty, and like I was listening, you talk about the homosexual thing, you know. A lot of children, that's the end thing for kids now. Not just being sexual, but being homosexual. It's just not right, and we know that. We know that. We got to stay in tune, and I'm telling you, like out of many radio programs, this is the realest. I'm just being honest. I'm being 100% sincere. This is the realest. That's why I tune in, you know, and tune everything else out because we have to take our place back, man. This ain't where we belong.
Well, brother, it's always a pleasure hearing from you, man. It's a breath of fresh air, and it's a lot of motivation in it because it lets us know that what we're doing means something, and it lets all of our DJs know that we got to keep plowing through, even if we don't see the immediate results of our work. It's happening, and you telling us that's essentially what you're saying. It's happening. We just keep plowing the field and keep holding the line, brother. So we appreciate you. We love you. And we know we're going to see you on the battlefield.
Love you too, big brother. Stay up.
All right.
Peace.
That's our warrior right there. That's Brooklyn. You know how that go. Ain't nothing to be afraid of. Got that. Oh, there you go. Brother Body Shots in the house.
What's up, warrior?
What's going on, soldier?
Nothing much. Man, it's crazy out here. Man, things are really picking up, you know. And I'm just glad for the War and the Rising platform. You know, this institution of higher learning to re-Africanize our people here on the continent and, you know, wherever we are. But, you know, an interesting thing happened to me today. I'm standing in the post office, and it was an elderly gentleman behind me, the brother, probably about in his 70s. And behind him was another lady. She was a sister. She was probably about in her 50s. And she had kept, like, sniffing. Something she was doing, like, something was messing with her sinuses or something. And the brother turned around and he said, "Are you okay?" And I turned around and she, like, rolled her eyes real nasty, like, and was like, "I'm fine." And I was like, wow, like, that's the state of interpersonal relationships between the black man and the black woman. I was just blown away. And so as I'm sitting there pondering, like, wow, like, this is crazy. I turn back around and I look, and she's like reading this street lit. I was like, wow, man, they got our people coming and going, man, you know. So,
wow, so, man, and let me tell you, bro, wow. I'm not trying to be funny. I'm not trying to bust on nobody. I'm going to get in trouble tonight for this. But I literally have gotten to the point where I can tell when my queen has been watching television. I'm dead serious. It's a personality. It's something. This media is powerful. It does something, man. That's why it's not because I'm a prude or a weird dude. I don't watch TV because it really does. I mean, it really changes your personality. I never forget, man. I shouldn't even tell the story, but I'm going to go ahead and tell it. This is the most retarded story. Now, I ain't never been nobody that hated black people, but this is an honest to God story. I'm going to go ahead and tell the story. My best friend, Rob, go Rob. I'll tell you about my man, Rob. He was a real thorough Southeast dude, you know, growing up. He's my best friend, man. We did everything together, go everywhere. And I remember we was like 17, 18 or something like that, and he was driving, and I was listening to NWA. NWA had just came out. I've been about 2 years listening to him, and even though I didn't hate black people, I was listening to this stuff over and over and over again. And I'll never forget, we were riding down the street, and there was this sister in the car. And I mean, she might have been 30, 35, whatever, maybe 30. And she had her daughter in there, about 12 years old. And I said, yeah, I'm going to give her the finger. And he's like, what? I said, hey, man, give her the finger, man. Let's give her the finger. He's like, man, I'm not going to give nobody no finger, man. What you talking about? I never forget thinking, why am I going to do this? It's not even me. And I was like, why? And I'll tell you another story. Because people know how hard we are on the N-word. Tell you how that happened. And I got to be honest, I know where it came from me. 100% NWA. I mean, the Ghetto Boys and all that stuff came afterwards. But I would have never listened to any of that trash if NWA hadn't opened my mind to hear this kind of filth. We was riding in Anacostia Park, you know, riding around, looking at the ladies or whatever. And I'm riding with my man John. We went to Hampton together. And we rolling, and I'm Mr. N. I mean, everything I say is in this. I'm a double N-er. That N-A-N, and I mean, I'm just double. I'm Mr. N-word. I N-word more than any black person you ever heard ever. So my man John was talking, and he was using the B word. You don't call them black women B's or whatever. So I get on this real self-righteous kick, and I'll never forget this because I thought I was being self-righteous, and I was like, yeah, John, man, look, let me keep it real, man. You really shouldn't call black women B's, you know what I'm saying? And he looked at me and said, you shouldn't be calling black people N-words. And I was like, oh. And it just hit me in a flash because I knew how wrong what he was saying was. And I was like, I can't even defend this. I said, you know what? Let's shake. I'm going to stop using the N-word. You stop using that word. He's like, all right, we shook hands on it. And from that point, for the next 5 minutes, we both was like, dang, my bad, I didn't mean to say it. We realized, wow, we really addicted to this because we were saying it over and over again. And that was from that day, it probably took me about 2 weeks to stop using the word. And I have never used the word since in terms of using it in language. And now I don't even use it, like now we talking, I don't even use it to say the word I don't use. But, you know, I was doing something that I never did, except I was tuned into garbage that trained my mind to do that. And so what I'm saying is, I think that the television and the street lit stuff, I think that the level of sophistication of destroying the mind is intensified so that it has immediate reaction. If you're into that stuff on any level, I think that it really has an impact directly with how you interact with people. Now am I off base on this?
Nah, bro. It seems to be getting far worse. And now the access of it, you know, before you would have to go to school, go to work, do your thing, and then you come home and sit down in front of the television. But now, you know, it's TVs in the barber shop and the hair salon, and it's TVs in the McDonald's. You got it on your phone. You know, there's TVs in the car. It's everywhere now. Hey, yeah.
Well, let me ask you. Oh, go ahead.
Uh-huh.
No, you go ahead.
Go ahead. I was about to switch the subject.
No, but go ahead and switch the subject then.
Oh, earlier you was talking about how, you know, there's a vested interest from the white power structure to destabilize our communities and keep the tensions and the violence. And I think he's making a point about the Rodney King incident. And what came to my mind was, I don't know if you remember, but Ted Koppel, Small Hat, and the cameraman probably was a Small Hat. They went out there to L.A., and they got the Crips and the Blood brothers to get on the news, and they tried to interview them and try to get them fight with each other. You remember saying that?
No, I never saw that.
Yeah. Anybody listening, if you want to see how a Small Hat operates, it's an awesome microcosm. Ted Koppel, this Small Hat, goes out to L.A. in the midst of the riots. He gets a spokesman from the Crips and a spokesman from the Blood, and he hands him a mic with all the intentions of inciting them to just kill each other right on the set. And neither one of them took the bait. In fact, as they standing there, decked out, repping their sets or whatever, one brother goes in and said, because Ted Koppel was talking about the looting and how they were looting, and they were a bunch of barbarians and savages running wild through the streets of L.A. And the brother took the mic and said, in light of BCCI and the savings and loan scandal, the presidential administration and the Congress and all of that has no right to talk about us stealing some $25 TVs. And then he hands the mic to the next brother, and Ted Koppel was looking like BCCI. That was like a major heist, major banking scandal. And Ted Koppel was looking like, how do these Negroes know about the BCCI? And it was a major debacle for Zionism in the Small Hats this day, and they actually had cut and went to a commercial because it did not work out. But yeah, they have a vested interest in having us kill each other. But
Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, but once you educate yourself and start to understand, politics and foreign relations and all of that, you start to understand your relationship to the world, and you become more powerful over yourself. So whereas you would run around killing, the closest thing to you, you actually started to change your paradigm. So
you saying understanding and information is paramount in preventing our young people from going out here and being self-destructive.
Right.
Well, let me bring up something in relation to what you're saying, because I think people find this very interesting. And what I need to do is just go ahead and get the article. I think I kept it. Matter of fact, Brother United Front sent it to me. He told me about the Small Hat. When I read this thing, it was real disturbing. I don't know if it was a Small Hat or not. It was a cracker, though. And he was in the music industry, and it was I think it was early 1990s, like 91 or 92, something like that. And he said that he got called. He was in the record industry, music industry, and he got called to a meeting, and it was all these big-time record executives. And then some high-ranking government people walked into this meeting, and then this whole group of, business people. And he's like, what the heck is going on here? So, and then this crack is telling this story in, the late 1990s or maybe the early 2000s, maybe in 2000s, maybe last decade. So it's 10, 20 years after it happened that he's telling a story. And he says, he sat in a meeting, and they said, who are these guys? And they said, well, these are private prison owners. And he sat there, and basically they said, we want to use the music to help to fill up the prisons to increase profits. And we want to do it in an organized manner, using, with the help of the record companies, and you all stand to make a lot of money with this. And this cracker, for whatever reason, I guess he wasn't really an insider cracker like that. He wasn't a hat that knew what was going on at high level, whatever. So his initial instincts from what he's saying, just, he was just terrible. Why would anybody do something like that? I'm not going to do this. This is evil. And so a few decades later, he talked about that meeting and how pretty much when he was obvious that he wasn't down with it, they pretty much just escorted him. I don't know if they escorted him out or they just left, and then they had the meeting without him from that point forward, and he wasn't in on it. But he sat through it so that everything we see in the music industry today is completely contrived in order to create that elementary to special ed to Ritalin to criminality to jail pipeline, which is really slavery for African people, that it was totally orchestrated. And he was there at the meeting where they sat down with the investment private prison owners to work together in tandem with the music industry to create music that would help to fill the prisons around the country with young black males.
Wow. Wow.
And so I think, now let me ask you this, because we're going to what you're saying. Do you think that if young people learned this and heard this and actually saw this and was able to be proven to them that that's what happened, would that have an impact on them?
I would say yes.
What else you got for us, brother?
I had one more thing, and matter of fact, this segues beautifully. Hold on one second. All right, read something for the Woe family tonight. It's real brief though. This is coming from Houston, CBS. It's coming from CBS. There was a brother named DeJuan Horton. He was a member of the Crips in Memphis, Texas. All right. So what happened was the KKK in Memphis was getting ready to have a rally. And this brother from the Crips, and when I say Crips, I mean as in notorious for terrorizing black communities, robbing our grandmothers, killing our sons and our daughters. That's the Crips I'm talking about, okay? All right. When he finds out that the KKK is having this rally, he goes to the Imperial Wizard and writes a letter with his concerns and his motivation regarding this KKK rally in Memphis. And this is a direct quote from DeJuan Horton, leader of the Crips. He says, "The first thing I was thinking was the largest rally you've ever seen, and you're telling us about it. You're sending the first blow. We're not throwing blows. We're going to dodge that one and hug you," end quote. So whereas black children in Chicago and Detroit and all these areas, in New York and all these places, we kill each other like a thirsty person drinks a glass of water. When the Klan is holding a rally in Memphis, the Crips go out of their way to get the attention of an Imperial Wizard to say that when you come out here for this rally, we are going to approach you in a nonviolent fashion, Gandhian fashion. And if you do attempt to swing on us, we're going to duck your punch, and then we're going to hug you.
There's only one thing that comes to my mind when I hear that. Martin Luther King Jr. That is exactly what he taught, and it's exactly why I have no respect. It took me many years to get to the point where I don't have he did some good things, but I don't do that anymore. I have absolutely nothing but disdain for that clamoring coon Shine running around telling our people after they murdered them 3 little girls. When Dr. John Henry Clark talked about how Martin Luther King, after they killed those 3 little girls in Alabama, how he came out in Montgomery and told those people in Alabama that if somebody had to die, better that it was our children than theirs. Better that it was us than them. Well, when he said that Negro said that, I said, you know what, I'm not going to do any more of this playground stuff, particularly when I found out then that at the same time, I later found out that at the same time he talked about all this love Peckerwoods and love crackers and you can bomb our homes and do all this stuff and we will still love you. But yet he was hiring the deacons of defense when he was going into certain areas of the South to make sure that he had some protection so that he wouldn't get killed. So on the one hand, He understands the need for armed guard support and service. Yet when crackers kill black people and it ain't his family, he talking about loving crackers. When them crackers bombed his house, he had men outside with shotguns in front of his house. Until the little faggot Barry Rustin came in there and tickled his funny bone and got him to put the guns down. But my thing is, and as much as as much as it sounds horrible, I gotta admit, who's teaching our children? I mean, look, I tell people all the time, how many times every year in January I had nothing but a veritable cornucopia of cooning and shining. Keep the dream alive. Martin Luther the King. This Negro didn't say nothing of value. This Negro never said nothing that somebody didn't say better. And the only thing that he left us with is that theology that would let a young brother who otherwise be out there murdering people. That's probably all that he has. I'm not justifying the homosexual, weak, faggot like punk sucker type style that he operated with. But really, what else have we taught our children? What else have we, as a race of people, taught our children? But for them to be a bunch of punks and coons and shines like that Negro there. What else have we taught our children, bro?
The truth and the revolution is always marginalized. Too. The only thing they had to consume is this googly gop about nonviolence. It turns some cheeks.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that's I tell you what, I'm telling people, there was a time when I used to do that middle of the road thing, and sometimes I would be negative about Martin Luther King, then I would come back around. I ain't come back around no more. He's a goddamn coon. He's a shine. I don't like him. Every now and then I'll throw a political statement out like, yeah, look at what they did to Martin Luther King. But you will never hear me say nothing like they shouldn't have done it or he was somebody who was a value or something like that. I just say, look at what they did to get a person's attention if I'm talking to some Negroes that don't know any better or people that don't have enough information about Martin Luther King to realize that he was holding us back. But I'm not doing this anymore because we teach our children to be Negroes and we give them Negro heroes and Uncle Tom race traders as heroes, then get mad when they act like Uncle Tom race traders. It doesn't make any sense. I bet you if that young man had read the Black Panther stuff, if he had read Nat Turner's Rebellion, not the one by William Styron, but he read the Confessions of Nat Turner by Nat Turner, I bet you if he'd have read Robert F. Williams' Negroes with Guns, I guarantee you that young man would not send no letter to them crackers talking about don't come out there. He'd send a letter saying, you want blood, we want blood, we'll see you on the battlefield.
Exactly.
You got me angry.
Exactly.
You got me angry with this Negro.
Hey, man, it make me even madder, especially in the context of the young sister Janiyah out of the Midwest, man. We can kill a baby without a second thought, but you go out of your way to Cowtown and want to make amends. They ain't even held the rally yet, and you want a truce.
And look. It's not just that Negro Martin Luther King. This is the kind of stuff that Negroes do. This is the kind of, if you listen, it's the first time, I'm on a cussing Negroes out moment. Just give me a moment, man. I just got to get over this thing. I'm really sick to my stomach with coons. Okay, we will be having a conversation. Yes, I hate crackers, but I ain't even say I'm hating crackers. I'm just talking about crackers because they is crackers. And I ain't even saying crackers. I'm just saying, yeah, I'm saying something. And invariably, some coon will say, well, we don't want to teach hate. I'm like, this is the same coon or coonstress that just called somebody an N-word. Or this is the same coon or coonstress that is out here selling drugs to black people. Or this is somebody that says, she's pretty for a dark-skinned woman. Coon, how the hell you going to hate black people? I mean, be a serious self-hating coon, a Negro that know you hate yourself. You hate yourself. And then I hate some crackers. I ain't even said how much I hate crackers. I'm just pointing out stuff crackers done done. And then, well, it's not about, oh, Negroes do this. It drives me nuts. Well, the brother, Irritated Genie, he not teaching hate. Yes, I am teaching hate. What are you talking about? I'm teaching hate. You're lying. Stop lying to people. Why should I be defending myself? I hate the devil. I hate child molesters that molest our children. I hate rapists. I hate enslavers. I hate the racists that's murdering our people. I hate that. There's nothing wrong with that. I hate that. What kind of faggot are you What kind of spiritual faggot are you that you have a problem with hatred? Look, just don't say nothing. Why are you defending what you think somebody feels? You're the coward. Children ain't cowards. Children, I didn't say it, bro. I didn't say it. I really didn't.
You did say it, man. You did not say it.
No, I didn't. I didn't. I was saying you're the faraway coward is what I was thinking. You're the faraway coward. Well, we got a bunch of cowards running around our community, afraid to tell children the truth. You know why we afraid to do it? Because the children aren't cowards, and the children will run to school and announce it. The children are going to stand up, and then that's going to force us to stand up. And we're a bunch of silly, cracker-loving, coon-like cowards that are afraid to fight for our people. We should be ashamed of ourselves, man. I don't like Negroes. It didn't start this way, but you really ticked me off with that Negro letter. I don't like Negroes, man. I love African people, and Negroes happen to have African blood, so I love them in that sense, but I really don't like Negroes, man. I'm just be honest. I don't like Negroes.
Man, I got one on the plantation about the egg, man. Matter of fact, when I get home, I'm going to have to look in the mirror and see if I got the knife still in my back, man. Hey, the peck of wood at work was like, this weekend, I'm going to get white boy wasted, right? That's like the new thing to say, I guess, if you in the alcoholism. And the black dude, he's not a brother, he's a other. He says, well, I'm going to drink this weekend, so I'm going to get Negro wasted. And I'm
Did he say Negro or he used the N-word?
No, he said Negro. Yeah, they already know. No, they already know. Do not use that word around me.
Okay.
Yeah. So he said, he said, I guess I'm going to get Negro wasted. And then it was like a 30-second, it was like awkward, right? And he was like, well, no, I'm going to get colored wasted. And he was like, he looked at me, he was like, yeah, we coloreds, right? And I looked at him, he was like, no, we're black. And then I was still looking at him like, I'm about to hurt this dude. So he was like, nah, we brown, we're not black, we brown. And I like, dude, you cannot find me in a crayon box. Shut the H up. And then everybody was looking like, what? And I had to stop myself, you know what I'm saying? I was about to go weigh in on the dude. But yeah, man. But what did you say? You said a coongress?
What did you say?
You said a coongress?
A coonstress.
A coonstress. All right.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I don't want to get confused. I say it's a coon, and you think it's a male because the coon sounds masculine, so it's either coonstress.
A coonstress. Oh, man. Hey, before I get off the line, can I tell you how Shay Guevara felt about Martin Luther King?
About who?
Martin Luther King.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, so Shay was getting ready to go to the Congo and help the guerrillas there, but he had a meeting with Robert F. Williams before he took his flight or whatever. And at that point in time, Robert F. Williams didn't know why Shay wanted to meet with him, you know, because he had seek political asylum in Cuba, Havana. So he goes there, and Shay has him waiting for a half an hour, and Shay finally runs through the door or whatever, and he takes out his .45 and he slams it on the table, and he's looking at Robert F. Williams, and Robert F. Williams leans back because he got his .25 on him. And he's like, I don't know what's about to go on. And Shay reaches into his pocket slowly. Then he pulls out the Cuban Communist paper. And that's when Robert F. Williams, he eased up or whatever. And Shay slams it on the table and says, have you read today's paper? And Robert F. Williams was like, no. And he was like, they got an article in here that's supporting the Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. And he said, and they're praising his policy of nonviolence, saying that it's the only way for blacks to gain freedom. I disagree with that. And then he pushes the paper to Robert F. Williams, and he just has this, Robert F. Williams said Shay had such disgust on his face about Martin Luther King. He felt dirty even saying this coon's name. And then he asked Robert F. Williams, how do you feel about it? And Robert F. Williams looks at Shay. He said, no, I don't agree. He said, I feel that the call, the violence of the oppressor must be met with the violence of liberation.
Mm.
So
Well,
nobody nowhere in the liberation struggle was fooling with this king dude. Nobody.
Well, you know what? Nobody liked that coon then, and everybody's been afraid to talk about him the way he deserves to be talked about. He's a faggot, running around with that beard rusting. He had a faggot philosophy. We just now finding the letters from Mahatma Gandhi, finding out that this fag was had a fag small hat Zionist lover, in this racist homo was fighting against the Zulus in South Africa, fighting against black people and the black people in India, the so-called untouchables. And lo and behold, we found out that he's a homo running around with a fag small hat.
Rellenbach.
His lover. Yeah, what's the cracker name?
Rellenbach.
Yeah, Rellenbach. And then got the nerve to talk about your body has me hostage or something. Man, get out of these fags, man. So here you got Barrett Rustin, a faggot, that went and learned behind Mahatma Gandhi, a faggot, that teach Martin Luther King, who, after Barrett Rustin got touched him, got into that freakishness. And then you got a bunch of faggots coming telling our people to turn our cheeks because they turning their cheeks. I'm sick of this discussion. It's getting filthy, man.
Hey, it was Gandhi's Sahajariya. The translation is called soul force.
Spiritual force and soul force. Bro, I'm done with this, man. I got to move on. We got some more callers, brother. But look, don't be calling up here getting me upset with these fags no more, man.
Man, somebody got to go in on them, man. They getting out of hand out here, man. Prancing Elite in the trunk. All right, bro.
All right. Prancing Elite in the trunk. And for those that don't know, you don't really want to go see it, so don't. But the Prancing Elite is a group of, God forbid, they're homosexual, but it's probably worse than homosexual. I don't even know what you want to call them. A bunch of black male cheerleader fag youth in Mobile, Alabama. You don't even want to look it up, though. Just trust me, you don't. So, 6929, you live on Warner Horizon.
I'm just listening, good brother. Peace and blessings.
All right. Appreciate you tuning in, my brother.
No doubt.
All right. Detroit?
Peace. How you doing?
Hey, how you doing, sis?
I'm good. Hey, I never heard back. Did you get the picture I sent you the other day of the pink bow tie?
Oh my God. Oh man. Look, brothers and sisters. Look, can I tell it? Before they tell it? Before you tell it?
Go ahead. I just I'm not gonna say I told you so, but go ahead.
Okay. Somebody who will remain nameless that live in Detroit and that done wrote 2 books for Warner Horizon so far. I'm not gonna say who they are. Somebody said about 6 months ago. I'm not gonna say what else they said that was going to eventually come out, but I totally disagree. And that certain person, I'm not going to say who they was, but their significant other disagreed as well. But the person, in addition to another prediction that they've made that has not been confirmed either way, they said it ain't going to be 6 months before the brothers in the Nation of Islam are going to be going around in pink bow ties. Why? It's been 6 months almost to the day. Why do I get an email with a fruit of Islam, and I mean a fruit, with a pink bow tie, man? Now, I ain't saying he's a fruit, but if you got a pink bow tie on,
Baby pink bow tie with a Dianetics book.
Yeah, he's holding the Dianetics book with a pink, brother and sister, I'm not lying. This is not like an exaggeration. It's not like somebody, what they call it when they Photoshop. It ain't no Photoshop. I mean, look, it is what it is. Minister Farrakhan is turning the Nation of Islam to a bunch of fags, man. This is the saddest. This is so sad, man. The dude got a pink bow tie on. This is, go ahead.
I didn't even call for that. I was just wanted to bring it up because I didn't know if you didn't get it or if you were just so astounded you didn't know what to say. Let's see. Y'all talked about so much stuff tonight. I don't really know where to pick up. as far as helping out the younger brothers, a lot of them are able to be helped. I know when I moved to Detroit, we didn't know because we moved up there in winter. It's cold, so wasn't nobody out there. But we moved into like one of the hottest dope spots in that part of Detroit, and there's no drug dealers there anymore. And most of that is because what my husband would do would be to go out and talk to them, and a lot of them, they didn't have jobs. They didn't think anybody would hire them. They didn't know how to go about getting jobs. So my husband actually got a lot of those hired at his place of employment. And the ones that didn't get on there, he would talk to some of the managers at Burger King and stuff like that, and got some of the brothers hired there. And I think one of them actually got promoted up to assistant manager or something like that. So sometimes really all it takes is talking to these brothers. Instead of being afraid of them or just acting like you're too good to talk to them, if you actually go out there and talk to them and find out they're not all bad, he cleaned up a whole corner, the whole street, where drug activity was just ridiculous, just by doing that. So, sometimes we just have to get a little bit more involved. We have to realize a lot of the children nowadays are not being taught. Most of them don't even know how to read. How hard is it to set up a literacy program? How hard is it to just get a couple of books and set up some tables in your basement? I mean, there's things that we can do that aren't hard and don't require a lot of money, just your time and your energy. I mean, we sit around talking about, what needs to be done. Why don't we just do it?
Maybe that's the answer. Here's where I'm coming from, and I don't disagree with what you're saying. But here's the thing. For a person like myself, everybody has their skills. I'm a teacher, but in terms of working these programs and stuff, youth programs like that, something that would probably be something I could do, but it's not I could do certain elements of it. But my thing is, okay, we met you. We got the brother up in New York. We meeting people, and we are working together now. I mean, so it's a case in point. But how do the people like us everywhere connect and begin to do things so that, you're an excellent writer. I don't have to write as much because you can write. So I don't write because you write better than I write. So, and definitely faster. God knows that. People, we all have things to bring to the table that can do stuff, but it's not, in my opinion, it's not enough of us who are like-minded enough to put our egos aside and come together and unify to really work together to support each other's success. What do we have to do to make this happen? Because I feel like, yes, all of us are doing our job, and maybe we are doing it. Maybe I'm just feeling frustrated, but I feel like we can get a lot more done if we were together and was able to work all together and all, in the same community or something like that. We could get so much more done.
First of all, I'm not a better writer than you. I'm just faster. Your book was awesome. I'm not touching that. But really, I mean, we could get a lot more done if we unified, but I just don't know how realistic that is, because if you say one wrong thing, people want to grab their ball and go home. We've seen that, even in our situation. One wrong thing that you say, and it's like, I'm taking my ball and going home. So, it would be good if we were mature on that level. Like I said, we all have to get in where we fit in. Some things might not be for you. Maybe, you might not be doing the literacy thing, but the one thing that really impressed me, and I told you this, is I'm mad it's not up anymore. The lecture of yours that I think I liked the most was the one that you did in the street, where there was kids around me. Everybody was around and could listen to it. Because to me that was so effective, because the children aren't always going to come to you. Sometimes you have to go to them. And I thought that was just such a cool thing that you did. So, I mean, you do your part, and you have the radio station that's doing your part. That's an excellent place for us to meet up with. But a lot of people that are doing this really aren't on the computer. They may not listen to the radio that much because they're out in the community. So it's more about maybe publicity or something like that, getting them to know that we're even here, because if they're out doing their thing, then they aren't even tuned in. They have no idea. They're not on YouTube or, whatever.
So let me ask you this. would it be safe to say that there are in each city around this country 5 to 10 people? I'm talking about a whole major city. I ain't saying, I'm saying all of New York. There are 5 people in New York who would be 100% on board with One Horizon. Does that mean that we would all agree on everything? No, but I mean, just they would be like, I'm down with One Horizon. What we need to do, let's move. There are 5 people in Detroit that would be down. There are 5 people that we could actually, if we had a means to reach people to see what we are doing, that they would be down and they would say, yo, let's do this. I'm with you. What can we do to help move things forward? Are you saying that's safe to say? Or, contrarily, are we so scatterbrained and split up by religion and politics and faggotism and sexual confusion and everything else that even a small number like 5 people out of every city is not reasonable?
Now, I think 5 is reasonable that as far as them being there. It's just how do you find them? Because, like, even with me, if you saw me on the street, you wouldn't know my ideology. You wouldn't know anything because I just look like a normal person. And for a while, I was so disgruntled, I didn't even talk about it because I got tired of every time I said something, somebody saying, oh, you're wrong, you're a hate. I mean, it made me, for real, I just wanted to choke them when they said that. So I got to the point where I didn't even talk about it. So if you met me, you would have no idea that I may be one of those people. So the hard part is just finding them. I know that they're there, but we're so disgruntled and we all feel like we're alone and we're the only ones that it's like looking for a needle in a haystack.
So I heard what you said about well, you know what, I guess we're doing it. We put a bunch of our DVDs up online for free, and people have seen them and reached out to us. We're going around the country, and we are making good friends with people around the country who are loving it when we come out. But I really feel like, and maybe I shouldn't feel this way. Maybe it's happening the way it's supposed to, but I feel like the time is here. The revolutionary spirit is here. The people are feeling like they're at rock bottom. These crackers are turning up the heat. This fag thing, everyday people are starting to say that. Now I'm talking to good Negroes who just like, this fag thing is becoming a problem. They don't, I was talking to 2 sisters today at the job, and they just had children. One of them had a new baby boy. He's like 4 months. And the other one had a child. She has a 3-year-old and another child. And she was saying how she would love to have a lot of children, but just not in this crazy world. And as we started talking, she pulled out the picture of the DC 2 pastors thing, and it's like these 2, the first gentleman and the homo thing, they got these pastors in DC. They had a whole ceremony for the preacher and the first gentleman instead of the first lady because it's 2 fags. And the 2 of the sisters was like, they want a lot of children, but they just don't want to raise them in this crazy world. And they wish they had an environment where they could just be normal and raise children. I said, this thing is getting to people. I feel like it's that time. And I feel like we got all the right stuff, but I feel like there are a lot of people on the ground who would love what we're doing, and I really don't know how we reach them.
Well, but you have to be patient because we're doing more things now. We've had the radio. We're going to continue to look for excellent program hosts that bring, everybody brings in their own little vibe and brings in their own little audience. So we're going to keep on expanding that. We have a new audience with some of the books that are coming out. We have God's Gift out. A lot of the women are feeling that, bringing them over. We have the children's books coming out. Next month I have Conscious Entertaining coming out. So we have more women and children coming over. So it is growing. It's maybe not the way we wanted to because we just want it to happen now. But I think it's going to come slowly but surely. And like I said, it's just like more publicity. Like everybody that listens to War on the Horizon needs to start telling people, listen to War on the Horizon. You never know who would be interested. My father don't even like rap music, but I went out with my father today and we listened to Cracker in the Trunk and he actually liked it. I was like, what? I was shocked.
Did he laugh?
Yeah, he was like, because I was telling him, if we can listen to music about killing each other, what's wrong with listening to music about killing them? And he's like, yeah, that's true. And he's like, yeah, I don't know why these younger people would have a problem with this, but, they'll listen to the other rap all day long. And I'm like, exactly. And my father is like 63 years old. So, you can get to people you don't even think you can get to. I was like, what? But, I mean, it's out there. We have the music. We have productions, plays. I mean, we're coming at them from every angle. As far as media, we got that on lock, and it's just getting better, and we're just adding more to it. So it's got to come.
Okay, that's a pep talk there. I like that's a good old fashioned Warner Horizon. We are doing what we supposed to be doing. Pep talk. Same as the brother in New York said. Hey, we doing what we supposed to do, and just keep doing what we're doing and keep plowing the field. And before we know it, we'll be where we want to be.
Exactly, but the audience got to kick in. If you like War on the Horizon, help us grow. Don't just let us sit around and think that we stagnant or something like that. Bring your people in. Everybody knows people who don't like white people. Everybody knows people who are militant, whether they're doing the right thing with them or not. Why they ain't listening? Why haven't you told them about it? This should be part of your daily discussion. We got a 24-hour radio station.
That's right, 24 hours. And you need to send in emails to Liberation at War on the Horizon saying how much you love the station, because we like to keep those. And every now and then when the crackers try to shut one of our stores down or shut us down on the internet or payment sites or just all kind of stuff they do to mess with us, we go to those things, read those, and they keep us motivated. The more we got, the better they are. So don't ever feel like you wasting your time to send in just a nice little note. Some of you all do it too. We love it. To War on the Horizon, because my folks is nothing better than me when they say, hey, we have to send you this email because I got a policy. Bad news, I don't want a whole lot of bad news. I'd rather they take care of the bad news. But anybody says anything positive about the work that we're doing, I want their email immediately, and they send it to me, and I can read it, and I just feel good and just keep fighting these devils. So, yeah, I think she's right. I know this is right. Tell people to listen and keep sending out that encouragement so that, we can stay motivated to keep doing this work so that we can get over this hump so we can get this movement going.
That's right.
All right. Well, anything else for us, Miss Detroit?
No, I think that's it.
All right. Well, of course, as always, we love you, and we'll definitely see you on the battlefield.
Yes, sir. Peace.
All right. Peace to my brother David as well. 4776, you live on the Horizon.
Shut it down.
All right.
Shut it down. Brother Genie.
My brother, how you doing, soldier?
I'm not well, Genie. I ain't going to lie to you, bro. I am not well. I'm listening to everything that's going on. My eyes too open right now. And my blood is too boiling. And I got to stay legit.
Yeah, you got to keep it tight, bro. Don't let them pull you into put the mask on. I know how you feel. Don't put the mask on.
Genie, I got to tell you, bro. Hearing at the beginning of your segment when you're speaking of it being time, you're 100%. It's time. It is time to draw blood. It is time to drop the system and all of those who wish to see it going. It's time. That's the only way we are going to get our healing. We live in a time if the people who were a part of the Rodney King riot, if they would have saw what happened to Sean Bell, brother in Oakland, Oscar Grant, shot in the back, completely innocent. It would have been more than just, burning and looting and all that. That would have been it. Like I say, I'm from Oklahoma, but I grew up, in California, and I'm a glass half empty, half full type of cat. The next riot will be the last one, because that is going to be the interaction. The first block is going to be the pig. That's the first block. And due to them being so heavily integrated as they are, that's going to cause conflict within their ranks. After that, you have to go on to the next larger area of this government's military, which is heavily integrated. So that's going to be diffusion. We ain't even going to have to go at the military, because they're going to see what the interaction that the police have with the people. But the thing is, if we can live in a time to where something like the brother that Oscar Grant went through, on camera, handcuffed, and he was the one who was trying to diffuse the whole situation,
the only thing that's going to reach our people the way we really need them to be reached is a moment of awareness and awakeness that they never thought they would be available to them. We chipping, when we speak. We have to make sure that we're not saying certain words to turn them away. We're chipping. We need to have that type of. I saw on YouTube you put up. I do not want to disgrace the ancestor's name. McKenford Hoodie
Minkivarata Hoodie May. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. We need that. We need to see hate in a new light. We need to see rage in a new light. Anger, death. We need to see that in a new light, because those can be utilized as tools of war. It doesn't. I mean, Ishukamasa Barashango, he said you can take off an enemy's head with a smile. You don't have to be angry when you do it. You ain't got to be mad when you do it. But to know that it needs to be done, you're right. It is time. It is time. And for our people to be as lost as they are, the only thing that's going to really put them over towards where, okay, they're going to want to learn and stick with the learning and apply the learning and make that principle a part of their lifestyle and everything, is for them to see us break this Peckerwood's power. We have to break their power. That's what it is. I mean, once we break their power, they're going to naturally jump onto it, because as we can see, our people are grasping for something to hold on to. And we have to show that, you know what, that we have to break their power. Me personally, I'm an eradicator. I want blood. Let it flow. Let it flow. We can rebuild. Let it flow. But that's too much for a lot of people. So it's like, all right, what's the best way we can break their power? Because, I mean, we can give them the truth. You were speaking to Brother Body Shots earlier, and you asked them, would the youth, be susceptible to them knowing the truth of why, Gangster Rap was put out there? And, he said, yeah, but I got to disagree with that. Talking with these brothers out here and these sisters, I mean, going to the depth just from the aspect of them sagging their pants, showing them that, that comes from them erasing your manhood. You talk about those rituals in the military that people were part of. I've been in the military, bro. When they put you on restriction from when you mess up, the very first thing they do is make you shave off all your facial hair. That's the very first thing they do. And it messed with me for a minute, because it's like, wait a minute, why? What's the reason for that? They ain't got nothing to do with it. They're breaking your manhood, them stages. You know what I mean? Breaking your manhood, making sure, putting you in a position towards whereas, okay, your masculinity is not there. Your warriorhood is not there. You're going to put up less of a fight. That's what they thought. But I'm doing research the whole time. Again, glass half empty, glass half full. Talking about them sick-ass homosexual rituals that they do. They got something in the Navy that they call crossing the line ceremony, a.k.a. when you go past the equator. You're called a polywog if you never passed the equator before. It don't matter what your rank is, how long you've been in, or whatever. You dress up, they make you crawl around the whole ship on your hands and knees. And you're walking on non-skid, on that deck. It's extremely hard, extremely rough. You got all kind of stuff, tattooed on your shirt and everything, and then they put you through all this ritual, where they flog you or something, or they take a fire hose, a piece of a fire hose, and they'll spank you doing that, or somebody will take some I don't know, urine and hot sauce and bleach and put it in a water pistol and spray in your eyes or doing something like that. They was doing that on that boat, and at the end of it, the fattest person on the boat is crowned King Neptune. They put a cherry inside of their navel, and they put all kind of pig fat shorting around their stomach, and you got to suck out that cherry from that person's navel. Now, I told them, I said, look, any one of y'all, I'm not going to cuss here, you know what I mean, because I know how y'all do. I told them, any one of y'all touch me, I will kill you on the spot. I was the quiet cat. I kept to myself. I did my work, did what I was supposed to do, whatever. But they heard my voice then. I will kill any of you on the spot right now. I don't give a damn where you send me, what you want to do. Because, no. I'm like, this is what y'all about? I mean, you heard of them, certain birthings, what they called them, where they were the new guy who came in. They would hold him down and shave his nuts. I'm like, what? Yeah, we held him down. We shaved his nuts. That ain't funny, and they laugh at it. You know what I mean? They laugh at it, and it's all giggles and everything.
Have you ever heard of something called a soggy biscuit?
Called a what?
Soggy biscuit.
Brother, I don't think I want to know what that is, cuz, for real.
I talked to brothers from the Marines and Navy SEALs and stuff like this, but mostly Marines, not really Navy SEALs, mostly Marines. And the stuff they talk about these crackers doing is so unbelievable to me that it creeps me out. And you saying some of the stuff now I'm hearing, and it sounds, all these stories sound the same, but they do unthinkable things. And they usually do it when somebody gets drunk, right? And the first person that passes out, they do all kind of stuff to them, right?
Right.
Oh, man. Now, tell me this. You were there. Somebody was telling me that the brothers tend to, not 100% of them, but the vast majority of the brothers tend not to participate in this weirdo stuff. Is that true?
Man, we know who we are, bro. I mean, before we even hit our first post, when they got you standing up there and they want you to, salute the flag that accosted you, and they say, you give me your oath, I give my life and all this stuff. They say, you look around, maybe one brother out of maybe 300 people with about maybe 40, 50 brothers there, maybe one or two brothers got their hand over their heart. The rest of us is looking around, unaffiliated with any type of black nationalism, but knowing our innate African culture. That's standing present. You know what I'm saying? And be like, I ain't finna get, what? You want me to do what? Yeah, I only give my name, the serial number, and all this bull. And give my life for my country. My country? What? And the brothers ain't standing for it. Some of the cats, as far as the ritual, some of the cats did it because, that's that, they want to be called a sea dog or whatever, a sea turtle, whatever they call themselves, whatever. But yeah, majority of the brothers, they went with, all of that stuff. As far as the crossing the line ceremony, that was considered like, massive Navy joint, so, they did that. But all that other stuff, when the new person come in, they strip them down, and, the fattest, ugliest person in the bird and just stand there and lick their face while they can't move. What's that?
No.
You know what I mean? This is get this one. The Streak of the Week contest, bruh. Now this is the thing that got me attesting to them being devils and as nasty as they are. The Streak of the Week contest was if you had the dirtiest draws, and they actually had parameters for where you couldn't soil yourself purposefully for you to win the contest. It had to be just regulated, whatever you do or whatever, and not wiping well enough. But the Streak of the Week contest, and they actually put it up on the wall, Peckerwood. Put it up on the wall, and it's like they was worshiping somebody's dirty draws. I'm looking around. This is at boot camp. So I'm seeing stages of this from boot camp to right after boot camp to when I went to the naval school, right after that to when I went to the fleet, and then being in the fleet, you still seeing it take place. And I'm asking all these questions. I'm doing my research, and one thing I'm noticing, me standing on my square as a black man, that was not adhered to at all. Even if you're coming with the concept of, Martin Luther King Negro, you know what I'm saying? Even with that, they not trying to hear it. It's not about you being right. It's not about you being nice. It's not about you being, none of that. The whole thing is power. We don't care we're going to do what we want to do with you, no matter if you want to do it or not. We'll do it with your family if you allow us. So if the
the better line, I'll get back on with you. You totally broke up on us just now. Let me go to 7517 and 4776, brother. You can call us back. We'll bring you back on when we get a better connection. 7517, you live on Warner Horizon. 7517. 7517 going once, going twice. All right. 5469, you live on Warner Horizon.
I'm just listening.
Okay, just listening. All right. Thank you, brother, for listening. 8229, you live on Warner Horizon.
Hello. I just have a question as far as outreach concerning the mission of African liberation and the war that we find ourselves in as far as reaching a particular group in our community. And I'm not saying that this is every member of that group per se, but from what I've been noticing, and I'm talking about some of the older people, so to speak, it seems like for me, it's kind of hard for me to discuss any issues of race with some of the older people that are in my family. And I'm saying, namely, these would be who we consider, I guess, the baby boomers. And right now, this faggot Obama has got them kind of wrapped around his finger, because a lot of them are retiring, and they want their health care, this, that, and the third. And, even my grandmother told me, he's trying to give us health care and the Republicans taking it away, and he fights for the poor people. And, I'm thinking in my head, you're going to sell out your sons, your daughters, your grandchildren, for some raggedy health care, that you might not even really get, So I'm just asking as far as how do we, as young people, without being disrespectful, try to get some of this message over to some of our older people, because I can't speak for all young people, but some of me and my peers feel as if we're getting sold out. And it's a shame because they know exactly what the deal is, but for some reason they're not joining this fight fast enough. And revolution has always been sparked by younger people, but at the same time, we need our older people as well. That's just part of our culture, respect for older people. But, when you all know, and talking to my peers, when some of the older people know who the child molesters in the family are, they keep going around touting Obama, supporting gay marriage, they then turn around and ask the young people, what's wrong with y'all, and, y'all are so out of control, I don't know what to say back half the time. So I'm asking what are some suggestions maybe as far as how to get over to some of the older people. I suggested that my grandmother look at Summer War on the Horizon, but honestly, I don't know if she did. She has a lot of white friends, and I don't know. I don't think she looked at it. But that's my question.
And I really appreciate this question because, and I'm not going to, let me say this, I'm giving you my answer, but I do not particularly think that my answer is right or wrong. I'm just giving you my personal assessment, but you may want to get more than one answer on this because I know that the answer I'm going to give you is not going to be popular. But
okay.
When I looked at this thing, I'm so glad you asked that question. It's a really genuine question. It's real. When I looked at the lock, stock, and barrel that our older people put into this Barack Hussein Obama, even to my point of my beloved mother, who is the reason I am the way I am, I use her as an example, when she was calling me trying to ask me to go vote for Obama. And my mother knows, she's watched everything I've done, so she understands exactly what's going on. I've talked about mulattoes substantially enough that people would know what it was. Mm-hmm. I even went as far as after he was elected, and I went out when we went out on our own and won Horizon. When I did Nat Turner Horizon, I made it clear he's a faggot. I mean, I said in plain, simple, proletarian, working man's English, so everybody knows he's a faggot. So I said nobody has any excuse, and then I proved he was a faggot. I gave the information and had done it over and over. It got to the point where I realized, I said, you know what? And I'm just gonna keep it real. Our elders, if you want to call them that, I'll say the older people in our families, they have gotten old and they have quit and they are no longer on this battlefield. And the ones who would be on this battlefield do not understand the new context of the battlefield because the battlefield has changed. And unless they are open to having their minds recalibrated to see the new battlefield, at this point in time, their usefulness is in their practical elderness, meaning an elder can still teach, a child how to have respect, but they at this point in time, most of them are not useful for racial warfare. I'm just keeping it real. We're in a time where we have to literally get to the point where the only thing that we're teaching our children is two things. One, that you are going to have to grow up and kill your enemies, and two, you need to build the world that you want once all your enemies are destroyed because you're going to destroy them. I mean, when I drive around, the only two realms of thought that my daughter and son are going to have is, one, we have enemies to kill on this planet so that we can be protected and we have a future as a race of people. And two, we have to build because we're Africans and that's what we do. We need to see a beautiful world within the context of our day-to-day living so that once we've gotten rid of all of our enemies, we have a decent place to live and we don't become like them. They're the only two things they're going to do. So everything I teach them is positive about self-respect, is about being an African, and everything else I'm teaching about is skills they need to destroy their enemies and circumnavigate this planet and drench the earth with the blood of our enemies. So I know that's a little extreme, and is what needs to happen. So in that context, our elders, honestly, the older people in our family, I would personally, when I look at them, I only look at them for when they can tell stories about being older or something like that. I don't even expect them to do anything. I have no expectations for older people. After what I've seen with this Barack Hussein Obama, they are no longer on this battlefield. The way I look at it, I'm your elder, young lady, and I know I'm only 40 years old, but I'm just keeping it real. I'm the elder. I'm the elder because now that I want to be, I never saw myself this way. When I was in Uganda, the first time I heard it almost freaked me out. A young lady stood up, Irritated Genie, you've done your work and it's great, but you're an elder. It's time for us young people to get out here on this battlefield and fight this fight. How can we do it? I'm sitting there going, elder, what are you talking about? But I realized something. It's all relative. And what I mean by that is it's relative because eldership implies, without us saying it, that the person still has the interest of the race in mind. And quite frankly, the vast majority of the older people in our community no longer have a concept of racial solidarity, no longer have a concept of wanting to do something for our people. Truly, deep down inside, they believe that we have lost. So they have given up, they quit, and they have no interest in helping us do anything. So I would invest nothing in seeking them to do something. I would use them as, again, they can give some wisdom to our young people. Don't ever trust the person that does this. And, here's a good concoction that you can make when you get a cold and stuff like that. I would have respect for them on that level, but I don't consider them battle ready or unless you talk about somebody like Brother Baruti or Brother Kamal Cambone or Baba Ashrakwezi, people who are really true warriors in this struggle. Dr. Frances Weldon may not agree with everything she says, but the bottom line is she's been on the battlefront for decades and decades, and I have tremendous respect and love for the fact that she's still out there fighting. But outside of these racially responsible people, 100% honest. Like when you talk about people in your family, the way I look at them is they're just older people that's getting older, and I love them. I appreciate them for whatever they did that was good, and they're going to die whenever they die, and I'm going to be sad when it happens. But I don't expect anything from them because they're not going to give anything. I concentrate on reaching young people who are not cowards, who are not giving up, and reaching people our age that haven't given up and that want to fight. And I'm only looking for the fighters because these kind of people can't help us. That's my personal answer. They can't help.
That's pretty much the conclusion. I then came to that conclusion, but I didn't want to seem too rash, and I definitely didn't want to, just say you know, look, y'all just are not going to do anything. I just wish maybe they could understand it from a different context, that when they support Obama, they are supporting genocide. But they can't understand that, you know, why can't two people just love each other no matter the sex and all that mess? But, you know, I'm like, you don't understand that you basically handed them the keys to come in. They don't even really have to break. You just handed them the keys. It's like this robber try to, you know, come rob your house. You know, you just give it here, you know. Don't even really have to try. I mean, you just give it to them, you know, hey, take what you want, you know, close the door when you leave. I just wish they understood it like that, you know, I mean, I don't understand what it's going to take.
And this is the thing. I want you to understand what I'm saying. I don't think it's that they don't understand. They don't understand. But let me say, that's not the issue. The issue with these older people is not that they don't understand, because if they wanted to understand, they could. It's that they quit. They believe that we've lost.
Right. Right.
So.
And I definitely see that.
Yeah, they don't want to fight no more. They don't want to do anything because they believe it's a losing battle. Hence, really, it's a waste of time to get them to say anything, because even if they saw it, they ain't going to do nothing because they quit. They quitters. So, and believe me, it took years to get here. It's not like this is something that I came to overnight. It's very hard, because as Africans, we love our elders and respect them. What this Obama thing made me realize, though, is I'm not saying that they don't have any value or use. Like I said, they have things as elders they can talk about, or older people that they can talk about that'll be of value, but I have zero expectations. Matter of fact, let me make it more plain. I don't allow them free access to my children without any type of supervision. You know what I mean? I may let them stay around them a little bit, but they understand the parameters under which they can talk. So it's like, I don't make it no secret that Obama's an enemy to our people and he's a homosexual, and that's how my children are going to see it. I don't give room to people to being older or not. I don't negotiate with them about certain positions I take. If they have a certain position, I don't dispute them. But when it comes to my children being around, then that's where the box gets drawn. So what I would say is, in particular, since you probably don't have children now or anything of that nature, focus on the minds of younger people and capturing those minds from these from the older people that might misguide them in the places that they will misguide them. Focus on the younger people, and then you just make sure when you get in position of power that you exercise your power. The same way Negroes with power make sure that the cracker of Jesus on the wall, and in their particular realm of environment, they make sure that Negroism, Barack Obama's on the wall. Well, in your space that you control, when they come in your space, you don't relinquish eldership to them, because they haven't earned it in the sense they haven't stayed on the battlefield, so they can't they can't change what's up on your wall. You have the black God up on the wall. You have a certain type of music that you don't allow in your home, and you don't allow them to come and play something. You don't let them play Ebony and Ivory from others. You know, that's the integration of song. We don't play that in my house. You don't have to be rude about it, but I'm saying you take the privilege to start exercising power, because that's what we really lack in our community, is the point that Pan-Africanists with a hard stance don't have places that we own and control, where we have power, where we can lay down established law of how things will be done in our environment that'll be fun and energetic, but at the same time, where we don't allow Negrodom to operate, so that we can then lord over and have stuff on the wall that says Obama's a race traitor, or, you know, whatever the things are that we want our messages to be. And that's where we need to focus with the young people. So that would be, I don't know if that was a long answer, but I hope it's some kind of way.
No, that was pretty much where, you know, where I was, you know, leaning to get myself set up so that my children and grandchildren won't be asking me, you know, well, what did you do? Then I don't have nothing to say. You know, well, you know, I marched. you know, well, what did you do? And I don't have anything to show for it. And that kids notice that type of thing, that stuff too, when you don't have nothing to show. You know what I mean? Because they're looking for things for you to show. You know, even as, you know, I'm 22, you know, I still look towards my elders, you know, and ask them, you know, well, you know, and my grandmother had told me, I don't think y'all realize all the sacrifices we made for y'all. So when I look at what's going on, that's. But I see exactly what you mean by, it's not that they don't understand, because they're very well, versed. My whole family is based from, basically, well, they used to call it the Southampton area of Virginia. They know very well exactly what to do, what time it is. So I don't really have to remind anybody of anything. It's just kind of like, they ignore it and really have developed a bad case of Stockholm Syndrome. So you fall in love with, your captor, your kidnapper. You don't even know it. And that's a relevant application, really, of these psychological terms that they teach us in school that really have no meaning unless you apply it. But that's basically what I guess I'm going to have to do, and just start setting it up. I'm talking to my younger brother, my younger siblings, in his school there's an influx of these faggot teachers teaching them, math and all that, and my brother just has to say in class, man, I can't stand faggots. And, the teacher gets back on him and says, what if I said I couldn't stand the N-word? Because the professor, the teacher, well, not, the teacher happened to be gay, so, so he got back at him, and I teaching my brother, don't back down, when something like that happens. If you can't stand them, you can't stand them. And I don't need some older person coming and telling, don't listen to that message of hate.
God.
And whatnot, and coming and trying to mess up what I'm trying to do.
Man.
If he can't stand faggots, he can't stand faggots. Why he can't say that?
God.
That's what we should be telling them. Don't come, teach them to love and all that, and don't get them kicked out of school. And if that was to happen, we're not going to let that happen.
And let me jump in here, because what you're saying is so relevant, and I want to clarify something. And I'm just going to give a little bit of a history lesson without a lot of facts, but just to make a point. A lot of these older people really did sacrifice a lot. But this is what happened. And this is why, I never really get deep into why I have this disdain for Martin Luther King. But it's really who he represented, and not just him. See, they were fighting like the troops do. You fight based on your leadership. Here was the problem. These people had genuine desire to see black people do better. What they didn't know is that their leaders, a bunch of them was fags, and the ones that wasn't fags was Uncle Toms and race traders, and didn't have their best intentions in mind. So they gave their money, their time, their blood, their tears, their sweat and tears and everything to these folks who just turned on them, and now they see what they see today. So what has happened is they're very, they won't say it out loud, but they're angry at these people who sold them out. They don't know how to verbalize it or comprehend it or understand it. And if they said it, it will make them want to go nuts. So they hate their leadership. They don't trust their own race of people because they've been sold out. And now, as opposed to wanting to get back on the horse and learn, okay, what is the battlefield now? How do I fight? Out of the bitterness, the anger, and the quit that has encompassed their spirit, mind, and body, now they're like, if you can't beat them, let's just join them. And so they're taking on a racial traitor's characteristics because, and this is what makes these leaders so bad. These older people who are doing this are doing it because they've been sold out for their leaders, and they worked so hard all their life. They expected to see something, and now they will lie to themselves and say, Obama's what I've always wanted to see, because they know it's a lie. They know it's not true. They know homosexuality is killing our people. They don't care because they're not going to fight, because they're so bitter and angry at what they lost before. They're not going to put any type of interest or investment in anything, which means they sold us out, they've left the battlefield, and they quit. So, but a lot of them did do a lot of great stuff. They were sold out by these Uncle Tom leaders, which is why we have to get rid of these Uncle Tom leaders, and why we have to take real firm stances on everything and really put something together that when we hand it over to our children, that makes them incapable of being willing or desiring to negotiate or compromise in places where there's no room for that.
Okay. And I have seen it in that light as well, that it's not so much, well, what's wrong with you all young people? Really, the underlying feeling of that is is dang, what have we gotten ourselves into? Sometimes when you're ashamed of something, it comes out as just indifference or nonchalant behavior and attitude. But really, I already know what the underlying cause of that is. Like, we angry, and what do we get ourselves into? And at this point, they see it as, we can't get ourselves, out of it. Obama seems to be the only way. It's really the Obama thing. Like, if it wasn't, some of the other things, we might be able to reach common ground on, but this is Obama thing, and it's all about the health care for the seniors and all this other type, and they don't even realize it. They do realize it, but, it's a gimmick. Why can't you rely on your own young people? You should rely on us to provide the needs for the community. Now, you don't see the Asians running around too much, worrying about some health care and jobs.
But you know what? Asians don't have hip-hop either.
No, and they put economics before politics. They're just now really starting to get into politics more recently. But, Dr. Amos Wilson has said, putting politics for economics, putting the carriage before the horse. So you don't see them running around too much, worrying about, they open up stores out here like crazy in Fairfax. They opened a new store in less than 3 weeks, But that's just, I'll take this into consideration, and that's pretty much been the direction I've been going into, trying to get this radio program of mine started up within the next few months when the show cycles start again, and really going to, just move forward as far as with the young people, because I know that that's where it is. And, I feel, and I do have faith that the older people will eventually jump on board when they see maybe they don't have any other choice but to do so. It's going to be in their best favor. They're not going to have any other choice.
Let me ask you this. Would you like to have a program on One Horizon?
I would consider it. I'm still trying to work on, some of my on-air presentation and whatnot, but that can easily be, dealt with. It's all about the message. So I will definitely, be down with that. I've been learning more about radio, taking some classes, should be done soon, trying to get up more on my reading, watching more. If I can't read a whole book within a week, I watch a lot of the YouTube lectures that Dr. Claude Anderson has done, and all of our, our giants, our elders that are still fighting, to kind of help supplement what I'm reading. So I'm really moving, towards that direction, and that would be great.
Well, let me.
I don't want to make it seem like I'm trying to.
No, let me let you know. Every once a month on Fridays, we have Brother Baruti and Mama Yah, the Abibi Fahodie show program. And if you would think about it, maybe the second Friday of every month, 7:30 to 9, so it'll be an hour-and-a-half program. It'll only be once a month. Might be something you can start off with and see if you can do it, because we need a young college person who's very committed and serious like yourself to have her own program to bring. You can have your Howard students listening in. Of course, we will be listening in. We make it real simple for you to do, easy to facilitate. And you talk about the things that are really of interest to young people, and we can get more young people listening and actually having a voice to talk about the serious things that confront their community. And I think you would be fantastic for it, because every time you call, you have some very, very, very serious and things that we need to consider. And, you know, a lot of times we don't listen to the younger people. We miss out on a lot of things. You bring a lot of those things to our attention. So if you, think about it, and we'll talk, and we would love to have you.
All right, brother. Well, I'll definitely look into it, and it will definitely be something that I'm interested in doing. I'm working with a lot of younger people now that might, that will be, just down with this whole getting the, youth together, so that would be great.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll tell you what. Send us an email. Say, hey, look, I'd like to talk further about it. And what we're going to do is talk to you and see when we can get a date that you can start. And like I say, once a month, so it'll be something simple for you, but you can get young people together and we can start getting this thing on the road and the people can hear from the young people so that we can hear, honestly, where we failed. Because I know my generation has failed tremendously, and I want to hear it so that I can know where we can do better and what we can do to help the young folks and whatever else that you want to talk about, you'll be able to, facilitate that and start it in a very easy, smooth process.
All right, then.
All right. Well, thank you for calling. Thank you for that extremely value-added question. We love you, and we definitely see you on the battlefield.
All right. See y'all there.
All right. Very strong. I'm going to end with my brother, Jamario. Put him right back on the line and let him wrap up, and then we done for the night. My brother.
I apologize, Genie, for, lack of signal verification where we at. But, you know what? It made me feel good to hear the little sister talking. She said she's 22.
Yeah,
yo,
man.
That's a strong deuce right there. You know what I'm saying? She's standing firm, and she's working with the young. So I like the way she said. She's like, I'm working with the young people around here. Yo, she already taking the stand that she's supposed to be taking. So, obviously, Warner Horizon then made the drop in the pond that's supposed to, you know what I'm saying? So that makes me feel good. Like I said, when I came on earlier, I was feeling bad and everything, but knowing that, the future is catching on and wanting to preserve I'm all down for it, you know what I'm saying? But
she really made me. I said, man, I want to end the show here, man. I feel the same. Every time she calls, I feel that way. It really gives me a burst of energy, man.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it's a breath of fresh air because, I don't know about talking too much to the youth out here in Dallas, man. Let me just say, the Matrix is very effective out here. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. We said from Fairfax, so little sister, please keep doing your work. And like Jimmy said, he's gonna leave it off on that. Black power, death to white supremacy, and much love and longevity to Warren Horizon, brother. You take care.
Yes, sir, Brian, man. We look forward to talking to you all the time because them soldiers in the South, look, the spirit you come with is really where I feel we all feel that same anguish to get this thing in, and I really firmly believe I'm going to work to be able to see this in my lifetime. I want to see the first draining of the blood of our enemies in the streets, pouring in the streets. I really want to see it, and I think we can make it happen. We got to keep plowing away, brother.
We can definitely make it happen, bro. We can definitely make it happen. Peace to you,
yes,
your
sir.
queen, and your seeds, man.
All right. See you. Do the same with your queen and the seeds, and we'll see you on the battlefield, soldier.
Already.
All right, brothers and sisters. Well, that's been another fantastic program. I told you it's always a fantastic program whenever we do open lines, and it made me feel so good. I was gonna end with, I didn't know which one to do it with, my God and my gun, or how to aim, but I think I'm gonna end with some mile for southpaw because that's what we were doing the night we were aiming, trying to hit the target on the nail. To say what we need to do as a race of people to move forward. And I think we're gonna end with our brother Maya for southpaw, telling us how to aim. So don't forget, brothers and sisters, I know things are a little tough. I know we talk strong here, but we do that because we didn't come here to be your friend. We came here to save you. We love you, and we'll definitely see you on the battlefield. War on the horizon. You gotta love it.
It's me, my Yapa baby, Southside, worldwide. While my people dying on the grind, high, trying to provide for pride, plotting divide, they trapping, divide, and can't fly. Propaganda got you thinking fate is homicide, hoping that you see tomorrow. Look at you searching, all up in the church, but the pastor can't reverse it. We got greed, all immersed in this. Only we can proceed with the surgical fix. Now listen, open heart like Dr. Daniel H. Williams. We gotta stop the killing, then we can rain like God cut the shower on. I cannot be pain. Come let me show you how to aim. For this war, you'll need your third eye. No more maladaptive, this six sides. No more murder, one less organized. Like a Fortune 5. Play the game like it's 4 and 5. To survive now. For this war, you'll need your third eye. No more maladaptive, this six sides. No more murder, one less organized. Like a Fortune 5. Play the game like it's 4 and 5. To survive now. Control the giant. The giant must see the midget as a giant. Himself as a midget. In psychoscience, free your mind and change your thoughts. Take the chain off your brain. What you see is war. BIC, Black Inferior Complex.